unnecessary, you hear me?
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Friday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, hot topics, pop culture, whatever's trending on these good old internet streets. We chat about it on this good old show. So before we get started, if you can do me a solid, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode, excuse me, of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Voice is slowly coming back. um and also, I was like, "Child, I had to throw the hoodie on because it is brick out here in New York. The weather, 41 degrees. I was like, it is too damn cold out here, and I do not take kindly to the cold weather. So, and then I got a text from my mother this morning talking about she want a sandwich maker grill for Christmas. That's a cackle. I mean, I'm gonna get her that though, but she don't watch the show. I'm gonna tell, so I can tell y'all. And that's a good thing. Although my family and everybody knows what I do and all this other stuff, in a way, I'm kind of glad they don't watch because this mouth and the things that come out of it, I'm like, I need y'all to know on my team. My sister watches it though because I post the clips and stuff on TikTok and Instagram. But other than that, oh, hold on, let me close that because I was like, I knew I forgot to do something. Otherwise, we would have been having reverb. But anyway, we got a couple of topics we need to get into. I have more Scream 7 news. We did drop some Scream 7 news yesterday in regards to the actress who's going to be portraying Sydney's daughter. Now, there was some more story that came out there of the guy who's going to play Sydney's daughter's boyfriend. So we'll get up in that, and I'm going to make the announcement from yesterday. I'm going to fix it up a little bit because yesterday when I was just reading it, it just felt like a mess. It didn't feel like a proper topic. So we're going to talk about that, and so I'm making that more into a clip. Plus, we got to talk about Charli XCX. She's coming back to America. Well, she is coming back to New York, but she is coming back to the U.S. for a short tour. It's the Brat tour. It's not the Sweat tour. So we're going to have that. So we're going to talk about that and all that good stuff. Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers is trying to pull another damn stunt to get him out of jail. And speaking of which, Tony Buzbee, remember the other day when we talked about the fact that he's been accused of assault? Well, now there's more to the story. Apparently, he's been sued. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about Liam Payne and how Cheryl smoothed over the tensions between, the One Direction's bandmates who attended Liam's wake. Because, there's some tension and things between them. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, I got this clip of T.I. out here acting like a damn fool. And based off the clip, I definitely see why that little Fraggle Rock ass, ugly ass child of his, King, be out here behaving the way he does. Because, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. And clearly, when children learn these behaviors of being a spoiled brat, clearly they learn it from somebody in their house. And he's a prime example of who we learned it from. Because what he did, and I'm going to show y'all the clip in case y'all didn't hear about it, was totally unnecessary. And I'm glad people dragged his straggly behind on social media for what he said. Plus, we got some wicked news. You might want to mute it if y'all don't want the spoiler. I'm not going to say it in the headline, but apparently the fans is pissed off at Andy Cohen because on Watch What Happens Live, he revealed a spoiler before the damn movie came out. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Ariana Grande is being accused of queerbaiting after she was asked a comment about Glinda's sexuality. Neo, speaking of sexuality, yeah, Neo is opening up about past romances while opening up about being in a polyamorous relationship. Plus, we have T on Redman who revealed how much he was paid to do a feature for Christina Aguilera's Dirrty. Luann is co-signing Bethany Frankel's shade towards the new Roni cast. And as you can see in the photo, the main photo we have on the show, we're going to talk about Drag Race Season 17. Now, the queens have not been revealed yet and stuff, but they revealed their first teaser yesterday. And so we're going to talk about it and break it down and all that good stuff. It looks like it's going to be a pretty wet season. So we have that and a whole lot more. And any other things that break throughout the show, you can definitely let me know in the comments. And but before we get to the show, if you can do me a solid, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification button because it definitely helps with the algorithm. And as I said, I'm trying to hit 2K by the end of the month because this is a little independent show that could. I definitely appreciate in the past year how fast this channel has grown once I started putting so much time, effort, and energy into it and giving you multiple shows throughout the week. Because remember, once upon a time, Chris used to only come on here once a week on a Saturday late at night, and them numbers wasn't doing what they needed to do. So once I took the initiative and started learning how to do everything, and then I started doing multiple episodes a week, I have realized that the show has been pushed out a lot more. People have been watching the show, people have been appreciating the show, commenting, liking, all that good stuff. And plus, doing little small clips helps as well. So I definitely appreciate everybody that comes in here and shows support for the show, as well as the super chats that I've been getting as of late. So if y'all want to throw a little coin up in the situation, I ain't too proud to bet. Look, the holidays is next week. And even though I do work and I have money, a little extra tip coin wouldn't hurt. So, ooh, yep, see, don't do that. Because, I be hating when people put that in the comments on YouTube and they be like, first. But it's all good. Hold on. I was craving something fizzy and I'm so mad I don't have soda water. Normally I do have soda water. I try to stay away from soda. Soda water is actually a whole lot better. So I'm like, damn, I got this Arizona green tea. That's what I'm just gonna have to stick with for the show. And I got my water. I want my water and my check. Okay, so now let's get to the first. Oh, let me hit my banner. And now let me hit the first topic. Let's get right into it. So let's get into this Scream 7 news. So yesterday, I had came across, I was in the middle of doing another story, but I had came across this other story that Isabel May had been allegedly, according to Daniel RPK, had been cast as Sidney Prescott's daughter in the new Scream 7 film. Now, they said her fake name is Taylor, but allegedly her name in the movie is going to be Tatum, which would be an homage to Tatum from Scream, the original Scream movie, which was played by Rose McGowan. So that story came out yesterday, but I believe one of the major trades actually reported it as well. So it may be legit. I think it was like Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, one of them. I can't remember. I did so many damn topics yesterday, and yesterday's episode was a little chaotic. So today I've pretty much smoothed everything out. So today's episode is not as chaotic as yesterday, although I did deliver. It was just all over the place. It was just too many things happening. I was moving things around. I ain't going to do that no more. I'm just going to do things in the order in which it is. But anyway, back to this topic. So the latest story, in case you don't know who this young man is right here, I know I sound old when I say young man right here, right? Apparently his name is Cassian Bilton, and he's about to play, or allegedly rumored to be playing the boyfriend of Tatum. Now, Isabel May, as I said, celebrated for her performances she actually is from 1883 and 1923, which is the Taylor Sheridan series, because Taylor Sheridan is pretty much, he runs Paramount Plus. Every, I think, scripted show on that streaming service is a Taylor Sheridan series. Not that I'm complaining, because a lot of his shows is good. However, I only watched a couple of episodes. I couldn't really get into the multitude of spinoffs of Yellowstone. I do like Yellowstone, but 1883, 1923, I tried to get into 1883 with Dame Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford. I bailed after a couple episodes. I was just like, I just wasn't interested. But Yellowstone, I definitely love that show. And all the other spinoffs, I really never got into it. But she's from that series. And they said that she's actually going to be playing Sydney's daughter. But she has two kids. So I do wonder if there are going to be two actresses that are going to portray her kids in the film. So is it that Isabel is going to play one of the daughters and we still haven't leaving the door open for, oh my God, I had her name in my head this whole time. The other actress, the one that was in Ghostbusters. I'm wondering if they're still gonna look at her as playing the other daughter in the film. So they said this development follows Neve Campbell's return to the franchise after her absence in the sixth film. Now, the introduction of Sydney's daughter opens new adventures for the storyline, potentially exploring the complexities of a mother-daughter relationship amidst the chaos that Ghostface brings. The addition of Cassie Bilton as her boyfriend introduces a new character dynamic, potentially adding layers to the plot and character interactions. With the return of Neve Campbell and the introduction of Isabel May and Cassian Bilton, the franchise appears to be evolving while honoring its roots. Now, as y'all probably already know, or maybe you don't because you're not in the entertainment silo like I am, Kevin Williamson, who you know, wrote Scream, Scream 2. I believe he also wrote Scream 4, but did not write Scream 3. Aaron Kruger wrote that one, and then Scream 5 and 6 were written by Guy Busick. Well, he wrote part of it. I forget who the other writer was for 5 and 6. But Kevin Williamson wrote the first one, the sequel, and Scream 4. He is actually coming on board to direct Scream 7. Now, I'm hoping, because no shade, but Scream 5 and 6, while I did enjoy parts of that film, I had issues a bit with the writing. So I'm hoping that Kevin Williamson will have a hand in tweaking some things, making things a little bit better, especially because he knows the character he knows Ghostface because he created the character. He knows Sidney Prescott. He knows Gail Weathers. So he knows those characters. So yeah, while Mark Kincaid, who is Sidney's husband, is not necessarily the character he created, he does have a hand in he understands the Scream world and how to make the Scream franchise what it is. Now, I do like the idea of a mother-daughter conflict, which we got a little bit of that from what was it from Halloween, the Halloween trilogy that David Gordon Green did, where it was that Karen was going at it with Laurie, and they were kind of having this kind of rebuttal until like halfway through, or maybe not even halfway through. It was like the third act of Halloween 2018 when she came to her damn senses and was like, "Can't do it. I can't do it." And then Michael comes over like a damn fool. She was like, "Gotcha," shot his ass. And he fell down. Well, then of course, Laurie stabbed him and threw him down the steps. And the whole thing that happens in the third act. But for the most part, it's like, I like the idea of Sydney going at it with her daughter, where it's like Sydney understands this world. Sydney basically has been dealing with this mess for over 2 decades. With her daughter coming in, you know how ungrateful a lot of these new generation children are. Where they were like, "Oh well, that's your drama, that's your burden." Which, if you think about it, was a similar conflict. Speaking of Laurie Strode, in the other alternate universe of Halloween, when she was going at it with John, played by Josh Hartnett, fine behind. So when he was going at it with his mother and rebelling and doing this other stuff until he came face to face with Michael, then he straightened up real quick. So I feel like there needs to be that. However, here's the part what I really think would really get the goose, cooking in the oven. I'm actually hoping that they do some type of twist where basically, since Sydney has 2 children, that they kill one of the daughters off. If they put something like that in there, I think it would raise the stakes a lot higher. It would make it a lot interesting, especially when we know the history of Sydney's mother and all the drama that she was dealing with her mother's past and how that trickled down onto her, and now the sins of Sydney's past is coming and trickling down. So it's like multi-generational trauma, which we have seen play out in a multitude of horror films. But I feel like when it comes to this situation, I'm here for it. But I do have a picture of Isabel May because I didn't have one of her yesterday. So yeah, there she is. People was up in here complaining about she look too old. She too old to be playing Sydney's daughter. And I'm sitting there like, Neve Campbell is in her 50s, early 50s, but nevertheless, she's in her 50s. This young lady, I believe, is in her early 20s. So, but then here's the thing. When have you ever seen a 23-year-old actually play a 20 damn 3-year-old on camera? There have been many a times, especially me growing up, that we've had like people who are in their mid 20s to pushing almost 30 who played teenagers. I believe Gabrielle Carteris was damn near 40 when she played Andrea on Beverly Hills 90210. So this is not foreign to have a much older actress play a teenager, especially when on a movie set, you're required, not necessarily required, but it's the standard to work 14 and 16-hour days on a movie set. So you can get away with, you can get around the little child labor laws when you got somebody who's older who is over the age of 18 that could play a much younger and get around to it. So I'm thinking what they're probably going with is they're probably going to say like Sydney has a 15, 16, maybe even 17-year-old. And I don't know how this young girl, I mean, like I said, I don't remember her from 1883, and I don't remember like that whole franchise, so I don't remember how she looks. And then on the other hand, when they do those shows, they make everybody look old on them on the westerns. In the westerns, nobody looks young. They always look a little older and a little dirty, you know. So I say all this to say this is what we have so far. It has not been officially confirmed. This is according to Daniel RPK. And Daniel RPK is somebody who is he gets a lot of information, and a lot of times his information is correct, and sometimes his information isn't correct. Um, but I'm gonna go with somebody who was like, okay, well, if you've pretty much been more on the right side than the wrong side, then I'm gonna take your word for it. But I'm actually hoping that this movie hurries up and takes shape because y'all already got a release date, and it's supposed to be February 27th, 2026. So it don't take long to shoot a horror movie. It probably takes about a month. Maybe you could push for 6 weeks. And I feel like after that, it's like you could definitely do what needs to be done in regards to like getting that done in a quick amount of time, as long as y'all got that script airtight. So while I know some people are irritated and annoyed by the whole Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, the Core Four not coming back and all this other stuff, Sydney is my girl. I grew up watching Sydney in the Scream franchise. Excuse me. I'm on the elder side of Gen Z. So, yeah, I'm not no ways upset about Melissa and them not being a part of the franchise. It would have been nice if they could like taking all the time because it's been a while since we got a movie, like what, 2 years? So there could have been enough time for y'all to bring in fresh meat and rejudge it instead of like going back to Sydney. But if there's a story there, then I'm curious to see what that story is. And hopefully what this is eventually this is an opportunity. Yeah, you're going to have Sydney in this movie and possibly another film, but we're passing down the torch to a next generation of kids. So hopefully we're going to do that. And look, I just hope this time you kids just keep your political stuff to yourself, because if Spyglass going to be around here doing dumbness, then protect your job. But people, at the end of the day, as Americans, we should be allowed to say what we want to say and speak up for those who are disenfranchised. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of the alleged casting for and I can remember that girl named Nat comes to me, McKenna Grace. So I'm hoping like McKenna Grace will be maybe she can play the younger sister. So I'm hoping that's what happens with that. That if they're gonna play, because remember, sis, you did have 2 kids. We saw that stroller in Scream 5. So you can't pretend like you you don't have 2 kids post, you being out of the whole franchise or whatever since Scream 4, between the gap of Scream 4 and 5. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of some of my theories and the cast in regards of like, yeah, maybe it would be interesting if they killed off one of Sydney's daughters. That would kind of raise the stakes, and then she'd have to be extra protective of Tatum, if that's still her actual casting name. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, speaking of comments, Robert's in the building. Ooh, my nose is itching. He says Scream 5 had to wait till Jenna Ortega till she turned 18 to film the first scene overnight because they had to cut at midnight. They waited till she turned 18 to do the bloody scenes. They just filmed the phone calls. They said yeah, I got you. We said Happy Rachel Stevens, Some Girls Remixes, and Danny Underrated Girl getting close to a 6-hour release. There's a lot of music that came out today. Marilyn Manson dropped his new album. Um, the Linkin Park album came out last week. So there's a lot of new music coming out at the end of the year. Australia Coconut EP and Girl Japanese bonus track version. It's a lot of tracks. Shout out to Miss Danny. You said I knew about Rachel Stevens, but the Danny one had me gagging as Girl is underrated compared to Neon Nights. Yeah, I think everybody knows about Neon Nights and is not as familiar with Girl, because Neon Nights was more like that. Neon Nights was more like, look, quiet as it's kept. Danny Minogue with Neon Lights, she was doing slut pop before Miss, what's her name? The trans girl, Kim Petras. She was doing that before her. And hold on, before we finish, I need a windmill on Lil Nas X for a second. Because he dropped that new song, and it's no shade, but that song is a chop. Now, I did like the first song, but the second song he came out with, I didn't particularly like it, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why I didn't particularly like the song is because I felt the song was too damn short. It's like and this is what, and I keep telling y'all, this is the irritation with me with y'all. It's like, yeah, the song has potential, but y'all don't let songs cook before y'all, take it out the oven. It just felt a little half baked, and it just felt like by the time we got to the song actually going somewhere, it was done, and it was because y'all were under that 3 minute mark. It felt like, what was it, like 2:58, 2:59? Literally, it's like you waited under to making sure it goes under 3 minutes because all y'all care about, y'all. I don't even think y'all care about making music. I think y'all just care about jacking the algorithms over on TikTok. That's all y'all care about, the streams and how many times y'all can get a rewind on TikTok versus actually taking the time to really put in the effort with the music. And then he said some disrespectful ish that made me want to dive through this damn screen and smack some sense into him. So in one of the lines in his song, this happened to have the nerve to sit up here and say, look how I open doors and everybody run in. A lot of y'all are just my peers. Y'all ain't my friends. Whatever with that lyric, I'm like, girl, you could have brought it a little harder. I mean, I get the confidence and all the other stuff in which we're trying to bring as in regards of like your music, especially when a lot of people have been side eyeing you with the gimmicks and all that other mess. And the fact that you are pushing forward to try to take initiative of your career, because ever since you did the J Christ thing and the religious symbolisms, and I would have been with you if you actually had something to say regarding that. But it felt like you was trying to regurgitate old tropes that people like Madonna have done 10 times better. But the thing between him and Madonna is Madonna was actually a Roman Catholic, and she was questioning, you know, her religion and the hypocrisies of Catholicism, which I could relate to because I was raised Roman Catholic like she was. So I got the symbolism and all the other things that she was putting forth in a lot of the juxtaposition of how religion tells you to be ashamed of your sexuality and women aren't supposed to be sexual and things of that nature. And she was just going against that. What was Jay Christ over there? You had Jesus twerking and all kinds of other mess up in there. And I'm sitting there like, now you just coming up here being a damn troll. And I feel like that's what hurt him. You was putting more energy into being a troll rather than being an artist. And people were just wasn't here for it. And now you trying to be taken seriously, which ain't forever. And I'm glad that you pushing forward. And now you trying to give us some, substance behind the style. But when you go over here and you disrespect all the other rappers that came before you, especially like Deep Dick Collective or Deadly, So Say the Elemental Wizard, Cakes the Killer, Fly Young Red, Leaf, Zebra Cats. When you go up in here and you starting to insult all these other people, talking about you open doors, bitch. You open what doors you open? The same ones that Gia Gunn out here claiming she opened. Because what doors you open? The only thing you were able to do that a lot of those other underground queer artists could not do is you actually ushered your way into the mainstream off the back of Old Town Road and doing the country thing. Then you parlayed and got into something else. You was trying to ride off that success, but you wasn't putting enough stuff out here to even be acting like you could be this damn cocky. You ain't Drake. We're on that level. And that's why I was just sitting there like, you want to know something? In so many ways, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be too mad if Azealia Banks came out and cussed your behind out again. Because when you came with that line, I was like, child, don't do it. Now, I'm here all for the cockiness and stuff, but don't disrespect the many of rappers that could, wrap circles around your behind. When yeah, you were the only one that were actually able to popularize something that was already going on in the industry for over 2 decades. Because that's how long I've been supporting out hip hop artists and going to their ciphers and going to their events and doing interviews, not interviews, but doing articles and supporting and promoting a lot of these artists. So that's why I got irritated by what he said when he said that. I was like, that old disrespectful shit. Oh, well, damn. Shout out to August Alsina. I just heard this article that he and his boyfriend broke up. Um, but they said they sparked breakup rumors after deleting social media photos. Well, that's not part of the docket. So I just a friend of mine just sent me that. But anyway, let me not be on my phone. Let me actually continue with the show because that's what y'all here for. And let's get to our next topic. And let's talk about Charli XCX. So Miss Mamas came out here and revealed that she's heading out on tour again in the United States in next year in 2025. So apparently Miss Charli XCX is bringing Brat back in 2025. So now um according to Variety, they said the following: a day after Brat teaser billboards appeared outside several U.S. venues as expected, Charli XCX has announced dates for a brief U.S. headlining arena tour that will follow her top billing at the 2025 Coachella Festival, which also was announced earlier this week. So, yeah, there, we announced that. I believe, yeah, wasn't it yesterday? Yesterday, we pretty much announced that she is going to be performing at Coachella. I don't think she's headlining, but she is performing. And I believe friend of the show, Onyx, said, and I agree, that she's a much better headliner than Post Malone. I get Post Malone, and everybody like Post Malone, but Post Malone is for a specific demographic. But as far as like what people want at a Coachella festival, I don't think Post Malone is the right fit for that. Now, maybe if you was doing like a festival for the country western folk, like the Hoedown Festival or something like that. And there's no shade. I'm just saying that I can understand people, wanting that. But as far as like what the Coachella crowd embodies, no, I don't see it. But but don't get me wrong. I'm gonna watch his performance, his overall set, and see if it kind of fits within that. But I don't think it is. I think people will probably show up because it's Post Malone. But overall, what that the type of Coachella audience, I don't see it. But Charlie XCX, in my opinion, is a perfect candidate and a perfect artist to perform at this festival. So it also says that the tour follows both her June club tour across Europe and North and South America, following the release of her multi-Grammy nominated album Brat, as well as her 6-week North American tour this fall with Troye Sivan. Now, Charli XCX has been named Vanity's Hitmaker of the Year for 2024, with the celebration taking place on December 7th in Los Angeles. Pre-sale will begin on Tuesday, November 26th at 10 a.m. local time, and the general on sale starts on Tuesday, November 26th at 2 p.m. local time at charliexcx.com. A limited number of VIP packages will also be available, and fans can also visit vipnation.com for more information. So, she's really, here's the thing. One of the things I will say about Charli XCX is that she definitely worked her ass off this year. She put in a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of time in, you know, putting people on to what Brat is. And kudos to all the little Johnny come and Jane come latelys that came aboard and love what she's doing with all of this. But child, I've been riding with her since True Romance. So it's good that y'all want to come along, but I want to see if y'all stick it out when she put out the follow up, whatever that is going to be or sound like. But you know what? The one thing I will say with her is that she tried the whole mainstream thing in the beginning of her career. She flopped. So the smart thing she did was she went underground, continued to work with Sophie and some of the other producers, and perfected the hyperpop sound. And now everybody and their damn mama trying to copy off this sound now that it's also, now that it's ushered its way into the mainstream. Which I always say hyperpop is a play off of Electro Clash, which Electro Clash, like I've been going to them parties and things since, back in the early 2000s, where it was like Fisher Spooner. And then of course, well, who was it? Fisher Spooner, Latigra, um, Peaches, so many of those artists who were there. Mount Sims, a lot of those artists were pretty much doing that whole sound. That sound kind of came and went, although it was like, well, I guess you would call it electro sleaze. So, and then LCD Sound System, like there was a lot of those artists that were pretty much doing that sound. And now it's kind of morphed into something else. So I love that Charlie XX is out here doing her thing now. Let's talk about the arena tour because I don't know that's a good idea that she's out here doing a short arena tour. Now, what are the dates? It says she's only doing 5 days. Like, make that make sense. So she's doing Austin, Texas at the Moody Center on April 22nd, April 26th in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the Target Center, or I should say Target Center if you want to be fancy. April 28th at the Rosemont, Illinois at the Allstate Arena. And then April 30th and May 1st, she's coming to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Now, you already know she did Madison Square Garden. That was a one and done type of situation. That was for the Sweat Tour that she did with Troy Sivan. And hold on a second, because I want to look up how much did the Sweat Tour gross in the US. Hold on a second. Okay, so she did. Okay, so this is what got me a little worried. I mean, I get it that you're still trying to branch out and do whatever needs to be done. However, and we talked about it on the show, but I had to remind myself. So she and Troy, along with Shy Girl, did 22 shows from September 14th to October 23rd. 297,000 tickets were sold for the show, and arena capacity up to 15,000 fans. And so out of the 22 shows, the tour only grossed $28 million at the, only grossed $28 million. And to me, I feel like that doesn't sound like much. That doesn't sound like a whole lot in regards of you doing arenas. Me personally, when I saw Charli up there performing in the Garden, I feel like what she does, because she doesn't do dancers, she just has like this minimalist background, and she's just hands up, throwing them hands up like, well, okay, what are you, Lady Gaga? Because Lady Gaga every 3 damn seconds always wants to say pause up, which irritates the dog fuck out of me. But that's her thing that she does. It irritates me. It's like, girl, if I put my arm up anymore, I'm gonna have arthritis in my damn shoulder when I'm done. Would you always want to put I'm awake, bitch, like perform. I want to go on this little tangent about it, but it's just saying, it's like hands up, and then she's walking around the stage and flopping her hair and shimmying her booty, and it's like, girl, you need a full production if you want to do it in a big space. I would have rather that she would have did smaller venues like Radio City in New York, or the theater at Madison Square Garden. She want to do something like that instead of this overachievement. I get that you're this big star now, but you're only doing 5 dates in 4 arenas, which is 2 nights at the Barclays Center. So I don't know if this might be a little over ambitious for her, but after we found out like how much you made with the the Sweat Tour, from the amount of days you did, 22 dates, but only made $29 million. The tour only grossed $29 million. So it's like, I'm sure that, you don't mind a little pocket change to go along with that. But for the most part, it's like, just not, it's nothing to brag about. Like, I would have expected if she would have said, like, the tour would have, for those amount of dates, that I would have grossed close to 80, 50 to 70 or maybe $80 million. Then I'm like, okay, girl. Now, I get that, especially when in so many ways, yeah, you are on a major label. Troy, I believe, is on a major label, but y'all kind of still are a little underground. Like, Charli is mainstream esque. Oh, and I also forgot to mention this, because we talked about this. Well, in private, I talked about this. Robert let me know, friend to the show, who's in private, who's also in the comments. She her episode of SNL was the lowest rated since Jake Gyllenhaal did his stint on SNL. So it kind of makes me wonder, is all of this social media, hype, is this all internet stuff, or is it all smoke and mirrors? Like, what's going on? And look, we already talked about on the show how Jelly Roll said that her team and her label and it was pulling stunts for her to try to get the #1 record, which she kept coming in third with the Brad album, and then it's not Brad, but it's Brad, whatever the hell that damn title is. These titles are so stupid and pretentious, but whatever. I still like you, Charli, but you just be doing too much with all these little whatever. And so I guess that's her sense of humor. But for the most part, I'm just like, yeah, I feel like it's a lot of hype, and maybe it's a lot of push from her label, but is once the smoke kind of dissipates, what's the real tea? Miley was good, basically. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do you feel that it's a little over ambitious of her to be doing yet another arena tour, this time by herself? Well, I don't know. She may have an opening act, but this time by herself versus, especially when I just told you what about the sweat tour and how much it grossed. And yeah, we know the shows, and then there was talk that in certain areas she was struggling, which Troy did reveal that there was one of the spots that they were struggling at. I think it was Nashville or something. He said something or another, or Tennessee, some part of Tennessee. I think it might have been Nashville, but I think he said it was only one place that they were struggling. Other than that, they pretty much sold out a lot of the tickets. And quiet as it's kept, I keep telling y'all, when they really want to fill up them places, they drop them ticket prices real low at the last minute. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so Robert says Bouquet debuted at number not 90, Chad. And number 20 in the official UK downloads album chart. This is Gwen's first album to be, no shade. I knew it was gonna flop. Because I was sitting there thinking, like, girl, I get it. You're 50 something years old, you're in love, but don't nobody want this record. Not them sounds that was on there. She could still did that whole, here's the thing. When she worked on Lamb, aka Love Angel Music Baby, that was such a groundbreaking record at that time. The different fusions of different sounds that she was doing, and it just felt like, oh yeah, that's cool, Gwen. She could have still kind of embodied a lot of that, but just brought it to where she, you could have did like them cool music stuff, but then also bring a little maturity to it. So it's like you don't have to like, oh yeah, I'm 50 years old, so I have to act all demure and mindful and dainty. It's like, and that first single, I was just like, no, I'm good. I didn't even listen to the album quiet as it's kept because I didn't care. So, but yeah, I'm not surprised with these numbers now. I wonder how much is the US charts, probably worse. Onyx in the middle saying hello, 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 hello. It said, did you hear that the Macy's Thanksgiving parade could be a target of? Well, look, I'm glad I'm off of work that day. I'll be nowhere near Herald Square. So, I mean, excuse me. I hope that something like this won't happen. But you know what? With all this stuff going on, Mayor Adams will employ, I guess, enough police and military to make sure it won't know nothing crazy happen down there. Bridgestone Arena hosts 22K. Somehow 9K is sold out. Yeah. So honestly, Charli really is a niche internet icon for queer people. People in Middle America have no idea who Charli XCX or Troye Sivan is, but that's probably why she's only doing them 5 dates. And that's why I was like, you know what? She might sell out Brooklyn. First of all, what was I gonna say? Madison Square Garden is a lot bigger than Barclays, so she could probably do Barclays. It's a little, cramped in there. Um, I could totally see like whatever. I just think like she is a little too over ambitious with this situation. So I do agree that yes, people in the middle America. That's probably why she's only doing them 5 dates because it's like ain't nobody trying to see you. And I know some people gonna be like, so what about Chicago? What about LA? What about all these other places? You only doing Brooklyn. Because I said majority of the people that is gonna go to her thing are all these non-binary LGBT LMNOP folk from Brooklyn, the hipster types, and little girls. Those are the ones that's gonna be up in there going to see her show. So she might do relatively well over in Brooklyn. I'm not even going ho hum with that. But other places, okay, I feel like her label set her ass up to fail, but if that's what you want to do, needs go ahead. Like I said, it's different when you do the festival circuit. I get you doing Coachella. That makes sense. An arena tour, like me, I'd have humbled myself and been like, I'll do multiple nights, but I need smaller venues. Radio City would have been perfect. You sitting there risking all that money and stuff for an arena, and you're not gonna be able to fill it up. Anyway, Cyndi Lauper was $25. It didn't even sell out, but was 98.67%. Only 2 rows not filled of seats, but it was full. I'm like, not Janet. Not Janet catching a stray. But Janet stay catching a stray on this show. It'd have been nice to see. Well, I'm sure she sold out Madison Square Garden. We have no problem selling out spots up in there. Except, well, yeah, there was a lot of empty spots for the Duran Duran show, and that was a good damn show. But anyway, oh, we got more comments. You said Kylie is more well known than Charli. Phoenix is expected to sell out by February due to being known and was hella advertised at the venue when I saw Cindy. All the Cindy gays was happy. Kylie was coming. Yeah, probably a lot of them probably didn't even know she was coming. But yeah, Kylie Minogue has put in a lot of work. Charli XCX has been famous for about a decade. Kylie Minogue has been famous for about 30 years. So she's had enough time to become well known. And she's had a couple of hits here, there, and everywhere in America. But we already know how fickle the American audience is in regards of how they treat certain artists, especially if you're international artists. And you could have marketed Kylie Minogue the same way y'all marketed any other pop star that you've had in New York, like a Britney or Madonna, or whatever the case was. The problem was you had people like, Joe Camel, aka Jay-Z, who don't know what the hell to do with nobody unless he's fucking them. Shout out to Beyonce and Rihanna, allegedly. And then he don't know what to do with no other artist. So I still am windmilling on his ass for what he did to that Kiss Me Once era. That was a mess. The album, the rollout, half the album was only listenable. And then the tour was like, what the hell is this? Like the budget was like $2. That little lit couch and no other kind of props on that damn stage. I'm like, what the hell is this mess? So, she paid her dues. Windmill is basically when you whipping somebody's ass. So like this. That's a windmill. You know how the girls be fighting? Windmilling. When you swinging them arms, you ain't looking, your head is down, you just, like swimming. That's a windmill. Like, the old black girl version of whooping somebody's ass. I used to see people windmilling all the time when I was growing up. So that's why I use that reference. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the diddler. I know I'm tired of talking about him. But and then somebody earlier said, and I want to debunk this because someone earlier, before I get to the story, said, oh, Diddy's out of jail. I had to do the Google schmoogle. And I don't understand how y'all would just be running up here spreading lies and misinformation without doing the proper research. And people respond like they believe it. I'm like, y'all just some lazy asses. Just look it up. He ain't been released. He's still locked up. He's trying to find, he's trying to pull every tactic he can to get out, but he's still in jail. So for all you simps out here who and you incels that are sitting up in here hoping and praying that he get out of jail, his release has been greatly exaggerated. So anyway, now his latest stunt is, well, his lawyers are pretty much trying to say that the footage that we saw of Miss Cassie getting kicked and dragged and all the stuff in the hallway was doctored. So according to USA Today, showing the diddler Combs, lawyers are doubling down on their efforts to get him released from jail by accusing U.S. attorneys of presenting an altered video of him attacking ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura to convince a judge he should remain detained. In new court flings obtained by USA Today on Thursday, Combs' defense attorneys leveled multiple claims that cast doubt on evidence the government has produced in their arguments that Combs led a sex trafficking enterprise that he should remain jailed until his trial. One of Combs' lawyers, Alexandra Shapiro, alleged in her filing that the evidence provided by prosecutors to the defense last week revealed U.S. attorneys miscategorized and concealed critical facts during hearings that dealt with the issue of whether the hip-hop mogul should be incarcerated, as he awaits trial. One piece of evidence presented to a federal judge was footage of Combs physically assaulting Cassie at an LA hotel on March 5, 2016, a clip that CNN made public earlier this year. Now, Shapiro says the exhibit, a principal piece of evidence for the government, showed an altered video that omitted key scenes and presented events materially out of order. It was an edited, manipulated version of the video. Y'all really gonna get on my nerves with this foolishness. And they said it was an edited, manipulated version of the video published by CNN. Now, here's the thing. Everybody knows when you go on the news or whatever, they're only going to show you a chopped and screwed and edited version of the video. You really think they're going to sit up there and show you the whole unedited footage? Because they're up there to tell, they only got a few minutes to tell a story. to break the news and to give y'all the cliff notes in regards to the video. Now, we all saw the whole video online. You trying to say that one was cooked and doctored and chopped up and screwed and remixed and flipped in reverse too? Is that what y'all trying to tell us? Now, it don't matter how the video was edited. The reality is we all saw with our two damn eyes, but those of us who ain't blind and ain't got cataracts, we seen the fact that this man that ran down the hallway after she was trying to escape, threw her on the floor, tried to drag her back into the room, kicked her, picked up her bag. We saw all of that. So you trying to tell us all of that is like, don't believe what you see? See, that may work with the other party. That may work with the Trump supporters and all that other foolishness with the lies and the misinformation and manipulation. But I ain't stupid over here. So it don't matter on whether or not how they doctored it, how they edited it, whatever the case is. The fact and the reality is we saw the video. We saw what he did. And if he was innocent, why the hell did he pay Cassie this unknown amount of money? I don't remember how much he paid her. Some people say 30, some people say 100 million. I don't know. I ain't in the lady wallet. So I don't know how much he was paid off from this, but if all this stuff came out, she filed a lawsuit and said that he did all these things from her, which we all read on the show as a class. I read it to y'all. And then, what was it, a month later, the video footage came out after he sat up there and said that she lied and there was no footage and he ain't never hit her. And then we had not too long ago, who was the celebrity that came out and said, oh, Stevie J, his butch queen ass, came out and said that he was shocked dead. That, that what he did to her. And then a lot of the times he was under the influence of drugs. So I guess everybody lying, right? We're not supposed to believe nobody that came out and actually, and he even came out and was trying to say, like, in a way where even though he had pretty much admitted that Cassie hit her, that he hit Cassie, but then you try to flip it like, oh, it wasn't that he was under the influence of drugs. He can't know what he was doing. And then on top of that, then why did you come out if the things was out of context or whatever the case was? Why didn't you say that when you came up there with that sorry ass Instagram video that you posted that you ended up deleting a couple of months later? What I do is I want to make one thing clear because he can't never say clear like a regular person. It's always clear. Listen to old interviews of him, how he says CLs. It always sounds like he about to hop tour all over the goddamn mic. That's what it always sound like he about to do. And so then he gets up here and he's talking about, what I did was inexcusable. Other stuff. So all this other stuff that you've been saying down the road, now you're trying to flip it like we done forgot. Now you know me, I will bring up a receipt on this damn show. So Diddy have several seats on his damn post, and now on his latest stunt, and now they're talking about a hearing for his bail proposal is scheduled for today. So we will find out. I don't know if it's happened already. I mean, we are on the East Coast, so I don't know if it's happened yet. But if any latest breaking news, whatever, in regards to this whole situation comes up, you already know what to do. Drop it down in the comments and let me know what the latest is in this live stream that we're doing right now. So I'm not buying it. Diddy, it's funny how you and your legal team, y'all are going through heaven and earth and try to get this man out of jail. And I'm sorry, sir, but you ain't going no damn way. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Your ass ain't going nowhere, basically. So, ooh, the voice is coming back somewhat. I'm not 110%, but at least I was able to do a little something, something. But anyway, so I said, well, this is saying. What do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts on this in regards to him saying that they edited and doctored and all this other foolishness, that this latest stunt, when you basically, it seemed like you're trying to victim blame Cassie. So whatever your thoughts on this whole situation, let me know in the comments down below. Child, that was some hit dog or holler news. You said Diddy is going to get bailed. The Abercrombie and Fitch Creek got out the same reason. Tate Brothers might go free because the defense is lacking heart. Oh, you talking about Andrew Tate? I can see him fight Jake Paul so they could beat the shit out of each other. I can't stand neither one of them. That's what I said. That what if why is he apologizing? If you ain't do nothing, I would have paid no money. I would have did none of that. But he's a liar. He said, I would say he is lying, but Johnny Depp edited videos and recordings too. Ooh. And people still dragging Amber Heard. A bill hearing is happening. Diddy is saying it's the holiday. Okay, and it's the holidays. Can you let me out so I can have Thanksgiving? I'm sure they got a big old turkey that y'all gonna be able to feast on in the Glen. So enjoy their dry ass turkey. So yeah, the bail hearing is supposed to be happening today, but yeah, I'll try just keep me up to date on what's going on with that as the story unfolds throughout the show. Okay, so now let's go from Diddy and his stunt queens to another alleged stunt queen, and that would be attorney Tony Buzbee, who is on this whole crusade on trying to take the dealer down. Unfortunately, he's been accused of assault. And it's like, well, goddamn, is anybody clean in this situation? It's always gonna be somebody that's out here pulling some kind of stunt or some kind of show. That's probably why I don't like Gloria Allred and Lisa Bloom. They always come across as opportunists for me or to me. But in regards to this whole situation, I don't know. I'm just taking it all in as we go along. So what they basically said now, according to TMZ, Buzbee is accused of assaulting a woman he had been representing in a divorce case. A source alleges that the lawyer flew into a fit of rage when he noticed Jane Doe in a public place several years ago and pushed a champagne flute into her face, causing her to chip a tooth. The alleged incident is not detailed in court documents obtained by TMZ. The woman said that she can provide medical and dental records as proof of the injury she suffered. Buzbee is also accused of malpractice over his handling of the case, which allegedly cost her millions. She said Tony Buzbee is a hypocrite. Well, this is according to her lawyer, Jeremy Bower, and this is what he told TMZ. He said there is nothing worse than when a black hat masquerades as a white hat. Child, don't I know it? Been saying this for a long time. There's nothing worse when you got people out here that you think has your best interest at heart, and then you find out they ain't nothing but they just as worse. They a damn grifter too. Who was the attorney that was representing Stormy Daniels, and then that tea came out about him? Michael Cohen. That's what this remind me of. I was like, you another Michael Cohen? Well, I don't know if clearly it got nothing to do with stealing money and things of that nature and harassment and things that Stormy said that he was making her uncomfortable and this other stuff behind the scenes. And then we found out that tea about him and he wound up going to jail. But Tony, if this is true, you a danger girl, in the words of Oda Mae Brown. So they also said that the lawsuit comes days after news surfaced about an anonymous celebrity suing Buzbee for shamelessly attempting to extort exorbitant sums from him or else publicly file wildly forced horrific allegations against him. The celebrity and public figure who resides in LA claims that Buzbee sent him a letter threatening to unleash entirely fabricated and salacious allegations of SA if he refused to cooperate in the case against Combs. The suit alleges Buzbee and his law firm are trying to get public figures who have been friends with Diddy in the past. Basically saying that Buzbee announced in a press conference last month that he was representing 120 individuals who came forward with allegations against Diddy over the course of 2 decades. Of those 120 accusers, 25 were underage when the alleged abuse occurred. Now, here's the thing. Like I say all the time, if you have the evidence, if he was foolish enough to put that foolishness on a letterhead and pretty much threaten you in any kind of email or text or whatever the case is, use that evidence to build your case, to show that, you know what, he is a charlatan. He is somebody who's out here who's a wannabe white hat that's trying to pull stunts and shows so he can make a name for himself off the back of this Diddy case. Now, here's the thing. If this stuff turns out to be true, and if Tony Buzbee turns out to be like this guy who's trying to pull all kinds of strings and play dirty games in order to take Diddy down, and if this is the loophole that gets Diddy out of jail, shame on him. Because if you really cared about these people and wanted these people to seek justice for a man who has used and abused his power as a mogul in the hip hop industry, in the music space, the fashion space, in the merchandise space, because he was selling products and had his hands in everything, liquor, fashion, music, even TV and media. So when you have somebody that was one of the most powerful people in hip hop for 3 decades running, and you're looking at this as an opportunity to make something of yourself, but you're doing it off the backs of these people who just want justice and compensate to pay me for my pain. Like it's in that type of situation. And if Tony Buzbee screws this situation up, there ain't a place hot enough in hell for his ass. Is all I'll say on that. So I'm gonna keep my eye abreast of this story as it develops. But Tony, I am side-eyeing you in this whole situation. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding Tony Buzbee? It's like, I'm not just going to come up in here and completely windmill on Diddy. Y'all already know how I feel about the diddler. So, but if Tony Buzbee is out here doing shameless things as well, we got to talk about that as well because he's a part of this case. And if he is somebody who's going to mess this case up because he's done some things in the past that's coming back to haunt him, then we got a problem. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Travis C says, I think Buzbee is a fraud. He reminds me of Michael Avenatti. Oh, that's who was Mike. I knew it was one of them damn Michaels. It was Avenatti. Was it Michael Cohen? Cleveland. Am I discussing Jonathan Majors? I am. I do have a Jonathan Majors story. I think it's the one. I mean, if it's the one that I think you're talking about or mentioning. Oh my God! You want to know something? Thank you for reminding me because I am talking about it, but I forgot to pull that as a cackle because I'm like, wait a minute, I know something's missing. I thought I had the damn story open. And oh my God, what is the name of my damn website? ChrisAvalon.com. Child, I'm having a brain fart. So I'm like, thank you for reminding me, because I totally forgot. I thought I had the story. I was like, I knew I was forgetting something. You are a lifesaver, honey. But let me find the story. Where is her? Where is she? Oh, yeah, well, because I was like, wait a minute. I knew that was supposed to be part of the docket, and I totally forgot to bring it up. But she here. But hold on, before I do that, I gotta make that's why I'm glad I could do this in between the topics. Because I forgot to add it. And I gotta create the lower third. On Coin, she's done. Where did I post it? Okay. I gotta make sure I had it in the right place. Oop, I messed that up. And what? Oop, nope, not that one. Okay, she done. I got it. I got it. I got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was like. Wait a minute. I knew I was forgetting something. I'm like, wait a minute. I could have sworn I had that Jonathan Major story. Totally forgot to add it. But she didn't. Oh, you said Elon is so into whatever. Good luck with that. He's suing Twitch for stealing advertisers from Twitter and allowing a F Elon Musk and Twitter channel. Hello. First of all, see, this is the irritation with the people like Elon Musk and the people that the incels that follow that foolishness over there on Twitter. Because I will forever dead name that shit. It's easy for them to, it's okay for y'all to do stuff, but when people do it to you, then you want to sue, you want to act like a damn whiny ass little bitch, and then you want to complain. It's like Twitter is trash. It's a cesspool. Nobody's messing with y'all over there. People have moved on to Blue Sky. We talked about that the other day. I need to cut that clip up and post it on my social media platforms. But we talked about Blue Sky pulling in over 20 million new followers in a week. So and people are enjoying it over there. And then I heard that who was it? They said it was some booger that was over there saying some racist, misogynist. He said some bigoted stuff and was banned, basically. So here's the thing: what I love about Blue Sky, you cannot go over there with your bigotry and your ignorance and all that other stuff and not be held accountable. So go over on Twitter because they like the racism, they like the misogyny, they like the xenophobia, they like the homophobia, the transphobia. Elon has no problem with apartheid. Clyde has no problem with y'all spewing your misinformation and your hatred and all that other stuff. Stay over there with his slow sloth of the Goonies looking ass. That's what you need to do. So, or as we like to call him, the real vice president. Because how was it? And this is what I didn't even think about this. How was it that everybody that Trump has nominated, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek, Elon, RFK Jr., all of them were at the UFC match, but JD Vance wasn't there. So who's the real vice president? I mean, quiet as it's kept, we pretty much had Elon pegged as the first lady since Melania not going to be moving into the White House. She's staying her ass in Florida. So, what you said? Oh, talking about fictional tales of unalive him. Child, please. All the misinformation stuff he was spewing over on Twitter, and this is what he mad about. Thoughts and prayers is all I got to say on that. Vice President, as JD Vance will step down. They only did it this way because Elon is not a U.S. citizen. And that's what the weird part is that people look. Even Whoopi Goldberg said that. She said that she believes that Elon is the real vice president, and it was like, yeah, they used JD Vance as a smokescreen. But here's the thing: how's he going to step down? You could be the face up in there pretending you're doing VP things, but for the most part, Elon's going to be up in Trump's ear because he put so much money behind him. So yeah, he's going to listen to him because he's been bought and paid for it. So I don't think he could do it that because here's the thing: once you become president, you can't have a non-U.S. citizen governing the United States. If Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't do it and run for president because he's not an American citizen, he was born here, was born in Austria, then he can't either. Chad, you already saw when I posted that video up on my social media about how both sides is a joke, especially the Democrats. Like, don't even get me started on they ass, who I don't even think they're interested in progress and change. Which is why I feel like this is what's going to happen. People will either continue sitting out or they're going to continue voting third party because we don't want the Republicans and we damn sure don't want the Democrats. And I do not feel like the Democratic Party can be redeemed at all. Now, especially with the way they was running, how they wanted to build a damn dome for Israel so they can continue to drop bombs on Palestine. But anyway, I don't want to get into this whole political thing right now. So let's continue on with the show and let's get into some One Direction news. So Cheryl, who is the ex-girlfriend and mother of Liam Payne's child, Bear, according to the Daily Mail, they were opening up on what had transpired behind the scenes. I don't know how they got this tea, but we'll sit up in here and entertain. I'll just react basically off of what they pretty much said in the situation. So they pretty much said that, as you all know, on Wednesday, Liam Payne was laid to rest. I showed y'all a couple of photos and things yesterday. We talked about it and how it was deeply emotional, especially Simon Cowell, who we saw the pictures of him, outdoors. He had broken down because Liam had passed. But child, now my damn Siri is listening to my conversation. I had to turn that phone. I had to check my phone for a second. I was like, bitch, why are you pulling things up? But anyway, back to the story. So basically, they were talking about how they gathered in a circular marquee in the back garden of Liam Payne's mansion in Buckinghamshire. Here on Wednesday, after what was described as one guest as the most emotional funeral you can imagine. I mean, all funerals are emotional, sis, but whatever. Or sir, I don't know the gender. His ex-partner, Cheryl Tweedy. Oh, Lord, not the Tweedy child. That's the name they're going by. Because remember, she had so many damn names. One time she was Cheryl Cole because she was married to Ashley. I believe he was a footballer. And then she went by Cheryl Vicini. I think it was she had two names. But I think that was her regular name. But then she was like Cheryl Tweedy. I'm like, Cheryl, let's just call her Cheryl. So they said that she welcomed friends and loved ones of the tragic singer who raised a glass to him and hugged each other as they mourned. The location was poignant, for it was here, say friends, on the outskirts of the pretty village of Chalfont St. Giles, that Liam was at his happiness. It was where he spent time with his beloved son Bear, who's now 7, often with Bear's mum, Cheryl, in tow. Now, friends say that father and son bonded over a pair of life-size dinosaurs, one gray and the other green, which Liam bought online a decade ago, perhaps a little drunk as an amusing present to himself. After relocating from Surrey a few years ago, the dinosaurs came with him and were given pride of place in the grounds of his house. They said they were at the post funeral get together on Wednesday as well. Liam loved his garden, says a friend of the star. The dinosaurs brought out his inner child and made him happy when things around him were not going so well. And then there was Bear, that what little boy wouldn't want to play with them? It was a place of fond memories, so to remember Liam there was special. The location also gave a clue to the role that Cheryl, the 41-year-old singer from pop band Girls Aloud, had arranged that day. So now, over the past 5 weeks, she had been a huge support to Liam's parents, Jeff and Karen, and sisters Nicola and Ruth, as they have started to come to terms with the devastating loss of Liam, who fell from a third floor balcony in a Buenos Aires hotel last month. Excuse me. No doubt the funeral was one of the toughest days they will ever have to endure. And it was Cheryl, I'm told, who played a key part in bringing everyone together in this personal and meaningful place after the services of St. Mary's Church in Amersham, Buckinghamshire. Now, Kate Cassidy, Liam's girlfriend, who he's been dating since October 2022, was also thought to be at the wake. Earlier, the American influencer arrived at the funeral with Damian Hurley, the model son of actress Elizabeth Hurley. The pair have apparently formed a strong bond after becoming friends over social media. That's cute or whatever, but child, I heard T about Kate Cassidy. The fans do not like her. They have really been going in on her, and they really feel like she had a hand in some things that was going on in that whole situation. I don't want to start the conspiracy theories, but this is what I've heard. And so a lot of people do not like her. But the family apparently, likes her because they had her at the wake and I believe the funeral. It said it's thought this was the first time Kate met Liam's parents, so the meeting would surely have been imminent had he lived. Following his death, Kate revealed they had plans to marry. She told her social media followers he had written her a note selling out a future together. Saying me and Katie were to marry within a year / engaged and together forever. 444. Now they said 444 is considered an angel number, a sign the angels are with you in numerology. The full list of those attending the wake is not definitively known, but there were undoubtedly a number of the great and good of the music industry, as well as some of Liam's One Direction bandmates. So we already saw that a lot of the bandmates was there. We saw that James Corden was there. We already mentioned Simon Cowell, Niall, Harry. Trying to remember everybody's damn name. So now Harry, then we had so all the boys was there because now I'm drawing a damn blank. So but then it said that when Harry Styles' black limousine arrived in the church, in typical sensible Harry style, he was the first to get there. Onlookers expected to see the other members of One Direction climb out alongside him. So yeah, they all, from what I heard, they showed up separate. So yeah, there's, so he showed up, then it was Niall, then it was Zayn, and then it was Louis. So they also said that he was flanked by actor turned chat show host James Corden and the television producer friend Ben Winston. The trio are very close. Harry lived in Winston's loft while his house in Hampstead was being renovated in 2013, spending a significant amount of free time with Corden. Arriving at Liam's funeral separately was an illustration of just how far apart the bandmates have grown since their reign as the world's most successful boy band when they presented themselves very much as besties. Now, after Harry, Niall was the next to arrive with his girlfriend Amelia Woolley, then Zayn, and then Louis. Now, outside the church, only Zayn and Louis were seen sharing a moment together before Zayn left alone shortly afterwards. So, but so here's the thing. So I guess it's common that should be a no-brainer that they all would show up at this guy's funeral, regardless of how there may have been some infighting within the group, or there's a cause for splits, and that they weren't able, while he was alive, to work out a lot of their issues. Unfortunately, it's like it takes something like this for everybody to come together and then realize what's more important. I think this is also similar, from what I heard, when Ashley passed away from what was it, cancer, from Girls Aloud, and then kind of the girls was pretty much whatever issues they was going on and happening in the group, that they worked everything out, and then we saw, the results of that in the Girls Aloud live at the O2, which I watched for a second time yesterday. I was like, that tour was everything. Like that whole show, and just the nostalgia of it all, and them getting up there and the performance and the glam and the choreography and the dancers. It was just a really good show. So they said, of course, they don't want to be there. They shared so much with Liam, but that doesn't mean they are best friends anymore. They haven't worked together in almost a decade. They've grown apart, which happens in life. It's like, sometimes when you're in a band, it's it highlights a moment in time, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And then, once you get to a point, it's like, you know what? It was good while it lasted. I'm ready to go off and evolve and do my own thing, which Zayn went and was the straw that broke the camel's back and did that first. Now, the end result of Zayn's career is to be determined, because, he was going through his anxiety and dealing with all his other issues, and his career didn't really pop off the way he had hoped it would. But we all see, like, the most successful out of the group is Harry Styles, followed by Niall Horan. Niall's career is definitely doing fairly well. Yeah, he's not getting all the attention and stuff like a Harry Styles is, regarding like all the American hype and the Grammys and all the other stuff. But when Niall, and I worked his show when he came to Madison Square Garden, it was sold out, which shocked the heck out of me, because I was like, I didn't even know Niall was putting out solo music. And I really wasn't listening to it, because that whole singer-songwriter guitar, standing there strumming a guitar and type of music, that's not really my zhuzh. It was back in the day when I was younger, when I was listening to like Jewel and Andy Cohen's bestie. What's his name? John Mayer. When I was listening to people like that, it was like, okay, that was cute or whatever. But I graduated from that whole thing. Now I need an 808 behind what I'm listening to. So, but it seemed like, you know what, but Liam was hanging out with Niall when he went. I think it was like, because they said before he had what had happened to him, Liam had went to go see Niall in concert. So they had worked something out, but they also said there was very little contact between Harry and the others, and that it's similar story for Niall, though he was the last of the band members to see Liam before he died. Now, indeed, Liam was in Buenos Aires to see him perform in concert, and afterwards, what he was told was a quick and fleeting meeting. It is surely agonizing me to all involved, and one of the times the band had reunited in years was in the hours that he passed away. So, like I said, that it's sad that this would all come, that it would take something like this to happen in order for them to, excuse me, in order for them to work out whatever issues. Now, the question remains, when they were there at the wake, I'm sure they said, hey, how you doing and stuff, but hopefully there will be a point in time when they can work everything out. Now, in regards of, patch things up, work out their differences, whatever the issues that they had, the animosity within the group and all that other stuff, hopefully they work that out someday. Now, do I think that we could possibly see a One Direction reunion? I was like, what is the word? I was going to say reuniting. Reunion. Could we see a One Direction reunion similar to what we've seen with Girls Aloud? Um, I don't know. I don't think that it would be it's a possibility that something like that could happen. I don't know if we'd see something similar in that way. So I'm not really sure. Oh, they also said Louis and Zayn were such a support from Liam in the last few years, they are distraught. Now, Liam's funeral was undoubtedly star-studded with a strong X Factor theme. Simon Cowell attended with his partner Lauren. He was seen embracing Liam's dad. We already mentioned that earlier, how he had broken down. And Now to get to the thing, because I was like, where is because the thing with Daily Mail will write a 5-page damn novel before they get to the damn point, which irritates me with how they do their news. But whatever. Let's get to the point of Cheryl and all what went down with that. So it says, it also gave a potential insight into the fallout of another pop band, Girls Aloud. Now, in attendance were Nicola Roberts and Kimberly Walsh, but notably absent was Nadine Coyle, despite the band reuniting earlier this year to pay tribute to their fifth band member, Sarah Harding, who, did I say Ashley? Child, I meant I said, who the hell is Ashley? So it's Sarah Harding, who died of breast cancer in 2021. Now, throughout this year's tour of the UK and Ireland, fans assumed that Cheryl and Nadine, who were at war for several years, had now made up. Now, here was the thing. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to the politics of Girls Aloud, but I never really realized that, yeah, Cheryl and Nadine butted heads. And the weird part is, Nadine and Cheryl both released solo albums, but no shade. I think Cheryl the one out of all of the girls. And Cheryl's not the strongest singer, but Cheryl was able to concoct a solo career, overseas and in the UK and all these other places versus the other girls. I mean, I like some of Nadine's music. I think Nicola put out music too, if I'm not mistaken. But but no shade. It was just like Cheryl's music was more up my alley because she was doing more of the dance pop stuff. Especially, that song that she did with Calvin Harris. I still bump that track. And there's a couple of songs in there. And plus, she actually did, I think she also did a concert live from the O2, her solo concert. I actually hope that Cheryl decides to put out more music. Now, back in 2014, Nadine told how she was blindsided by the decision to break up Girls Aloud and accused the others of plotting behind her back. She claimed that the rest of the band decided to call time on the group without consulting her, added that she was just told minutes before going out on stage for the final performance of 10, the Hits tour. I didn't want the band to end. It was just as simple as that, she said. Cheryl hit back saying that Nadine is full of shit and accused her of holding the band to ransom. Meanwhile, Nicole and Kimberly have been the most loyal of friends of Cheryl for 2 decades, accompanying her to Thailand, for example, when her ex-husband Ashley Cole was caught cheating with a hairdresser named Amy Walton back in 2008. They also said that Bear and Kimberly's sons, aged 7, 4, and 3, are very close, while Nicola is immensely fond of the little boy. Now, as for Cheryl, while she and Liam split up following months of drama back in 2018, his death still will now always be a part of her life. So when she found out that she was pregnant, it basically said that her dream was always to be a mother. And when she was with Ashley, which I think she was relatively young when she was with him, she wanted to have a bunch of damn kids, but it didn't work out that way. Probably because he was laying low and spreading it wide with a bunch of other people. So, as her, they basically said that she is tough as nails. We have noticed that Cheryl is definitely tough as nails. Now you're gonna make me go back and watch this damn Girls Aloud concert and pay attention real close because I'm like, I think during the show, Cheryl and Nadine kind of weren't really like interacting. Yeah, they would give the glances and perform, and you would see them hug and hold hands. But I think they did it in a way where it was just like, um, y'all can get up there and get cordial. And this is what I always say about people. At some point, if you got beef with people in your group, and there's, trust and believe, a lot of beef in a lot of groups. The smart thing to do is get up there and just like, you know what? Regardless of how we feel about each other, let's get this money. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to break bread. We ain't got to kiki and party and roll the kiki and sip on some margaritas and drop that kitty down low. We ain't got to do all that. We ain't even got to. I don't know if Nicola got kids, but we don't even have to like hang out or have our kids hang out with each other. But when it comes down to it, just choreograph this show in a way we ain't really got to interact and mingle. And we just get up here and get our coins. And that's all the fans care about. They don't care about all that damn drama. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are regarding Liam's funeral and things of that nature, let me know in the comments down below. Ooh, excuse me. Said Nadine and Cheryl need to go to therapy and fix issues. Even watching the show again, Nadine was mostly by herself. Cheryl had Kim and Nicola by her side. Tweety is a maiden. Oh, okay. That's crazy. Well, I was like, yeah, I did notice that the other girls were kind of like together, and I'm like, damn, did they kind of like just dismiss the Nadine? I kind of wonder why. Well, quiet as it's kept, I will say this: Nadine does have the stronger voice out of all of them. They all have the parts that they play. I know I said Sarah. I meant to say Sarah Harding. It says Cheryl, I get it. You are a Tweety, but it's just Cheryl. The gays love Cheryl out of all the members. She's a jade of girls. He said, is Zane the guy in the sunglasses? My God, can I yeah, Zane had the shades on. He was looking fine up in that damn picture. I was like, okay, little boy. Well, he's not little, but you know what I'm saying. Wasn't this film was supposed to be private? It was private. The fact of the matter was that because the what was happening was they were getting the pictures of people as they were going in and things of that nature. And I guess when you outside doing stuff, they're getting the pictures. But I do agree with that. It's like I feel in certain parts y'all do need to keep things private and let people have a moment. I remember I was watching. I think it was Perez Hilton talking about, oh, I don't know what the who spoke or what. I said, child, you don't need to know that. That's none of your damn business. The fact of the matter was, we seen some of the pictures. We know who was there. To people, we saw the carriage, we saw those things, and that's all that matters. I don't need to know details on who spoke and what was said and all that. I don't need to know all of that. I feel like let people have their moment. But just let me see a couple of the photos, let me know who attended, and I'm good. Yes, Sarah Harding. Can the US get into them? I love an arena tour. The motorcycle tribute to that video, Wake Me Up, Bitch. I got my life. I love that tour. Outside Untouchable, the first act was like their well, that's why I was like reminding me of like Kylie Minogue, but that goes to show like that's just the Brits all together. Whenever they do like their shows, it's always extravagant, it's over the top, it's sexy, it's fun, it's campy, and they don't take themselves too seriously. And that's what I liked about Girls Aloud is that they all look good up there, they all performing their ass off and everything. And I excuse me, I really hope that the ladies do work it out. Because it is like the other women up there were having a good time and they kind of just left Nadine all by herself. So hopefully they work it out. Like you said, sexy fun, sex act was rock dance, and third final act was club music, and The Promise was a great final song. It's rare that the set list was perfect. Big hits plus a few fan faves. Then they worked it out, and I hope they get in the studio and make some more music. But what was it, Nicole? Oh, you said Girl Overboard Graffiti, My Soul, a Britney Spears. Oh, I remember that song. I didn't know they recorded that. I forgot that it was Graffiti My Soul because I was like, wait a minute. Britney Spears was supposed to have sang that during the In the Zone session, which I definitely see Britney doing that track, but Jive hated the track, the lack of chorus. And I do love the on the Metro, Nicola Roberts. Love, love, dance to the beat of my drum. Girls Aloud and Kylie wrote a Cheryl track in 2018. Yes, love made me do it, honey. You said, take Chris' advice, Jerry. Swallow your pride and give us one final spot. Yeah, was it you that posted that video of Jerry Hollowell making out with a girl while they was arm wrestling? I remember seeing that. I was like, child. And that's why I said, too. I feel like the girls need to get together. The quiet as kept. We don't need power. She was never like, she never gave a little anything when she say, it's part of the Spice Girls. She ain't give no yang yang. She didn't give us nothing. She didn't give us a toot toot or a beat beat. So she won't be missed. But all the other girls, y'all could get up in there and give us what we need to be given. But if Jerry wanted to sit here and be stank with her attitude, whatever, girl. We can't look. We could do a quartet because we did that before. We got used to the fact that Jerry left. But a trio of the Spice Girls is not going to work. Perez calling Taylor a manipulative. No, calling Taylor Swift manipulative. Calling pot is a pot calling the kettle black because he's with. Especially when he be putting his own kid shit on blast on his damn show. His daughter was on punishment or whatever. And he goes and says, "Why you in here?" And she was like, "Because I want to be." He said, "Oh, it's not because you're grounded. Why you got to put the child on blast?" And then what irritated me, well, look, this is how you want to raise your child. But you up in here making lots of money off of American stories, but you get mad at your child for watching wrestling because it's not in Spanish. So make him watch a lot of Nacho Libre stuff. Make him watch that stuff. But it's like, I will be damned. It's like, first of all, if I'm living, you're not gonna have me just watching nothing in one specific language. I got to watch everything. But thank God I don't have parents like that. But like I said, if you can raise your child and raise your child, that's how you raise them. But I do hope that they, work out. That's the one thing about groups that I always find interesting is that why can't majority of them make it work or stick together? At least the Backstreet Boys was able to do it. Everybody else is like, NSYNC ain't together. They keep coming up with fake ass excuses. I'm not buying none of them. We know what the main factor is. The common factor is Justin. But they want to sit up here and try to feed us this BS with him. And then it's like, I was glad to see that the Girls Aloud group was back together because that was a good concert. And look at all that money y'all just made doing that show. But I do wonder if the girls want to come out and do solo stuff. But it's like, I don't really think their careers really took off. I feel like the only one that really took off was Cheryl. And I think it's because she tapped into the gay audience. And so the gays and the girls, those will be the group that'll keep you alive, career-wise. Now, speaking of Cheryl, let's get to the other Cheryl, and that'd be Cher. So Cher is opening up about, I think I had this story, I had heard this story the other day, but then I was like, excuse me, let me bring this up. The damn cold is golden. In regards of, she said that Tina Turner once turned to her for advice on how to leave Ike Turner. Because I think I talked about this around the time when what was it? There was a Cher story about how Sonny Bono basically she was talking about how she felt like he kept her prisoner, and I felt like he groomed her because he was damn near 30 and she was what 15, 16, and how she was with him and they did the variety show and they were making all this money, and I guess they were doing Vegas and he was signing her up to do all these other things because pretty much they were making so much money as a collective. I don't think he ever physically abused her because I haven't read the book yet, and she never that story that never came out. So I don't think there was physical abuse, but I do feel like there's other ways of abusing people. There's emotional abuse and things of that nature. But we already know the story about Tina because we saw what's love got to do with it. Shout out to Angela Bassett. She was still wrong for not getting that Best Actress win. So now, according to reports, it said the Believe icon, Cher, who's 78, had a nearly 5-decade-long friendship with Turner, who died age 83 in 2023, and wrote in her new memoir, Cher the Memoir Part 1, how Turner had begged for her help to leave Ike after another beating. The best hit maker, Turner, had asked Cher for help covering up a bruise, with Cher writing, "One of the days we were shooting, she came to my room before we went on, asked if I had some cover up. She had a bruise on her arm and didn't want it showing on camera. I told her I had something that would work." She then asked Cher how she left her first husband, Sonny Bono, whom she married in 1969 and divorced in 1975. Cher wrote, "I looked at her and told her, I just walked out and kept going." Now, the singer recalled how Turner's plea reminded her of when she asked Lucille Ball how to leave Bono. So that was a story I had mentioned. I mean, I had remembered too. That she said she asked Lucille Ball how to leave that man. She said she wrote, "I called Lucille Ball to ask her for advice. I told her, Lucy, I want to leave Sonny, and you're the only one I know that's ever been in the same situation. What should I do?" Now, Lucy and her husband had also become famous working together as stars on TV, and he was a huge womanizer too. Then Lucy had left him. And first of all, we all know because Desi Arnaz, that was a fine ass man. I used to watch, growing up, the repeats of I Love Lucy, Babaloo, all that stuff. Now, Turner, for those of you who don't know, and her and Cher first met on the Sonny and Cher show in 1972, with the pair memorably duetting on a performance of Shirley and Company's Shame, Shame, Shame on the Cher show in 1975. Now, Turner would divorce Ike in 1978. In October of 2023, Cher described her final visit to the Queen of Rock before her death in May of that year at age 83 as one filled with laughter. The Oscar winner had traveled to Switzerland, where Tina had lived since 1995. She said, I got to see her. She was lying on the Chase and said, as in Chase Lounge, for those of you who didn't know, and said, I'm tired. Then for 2 hours, we were running around the house and she was laughing hysterically, she recalled. She just needed to talk and yell, she said of the Proud Mary singer who had been battling a series of health problems, including a stroke, intestinal cancer, and kidney failure. Now, the crazy part was I had no idea that Tina was going through all of this other stuff while she was in Switzerland because, she remained an insanely private life. Now, they said that for those of you who not aware, she basically said that they had the best time when they talked like it was old times. Now, Ike and Tina became known in the 60s and 70s as the Ike and Tina Review, but behind closed doors, we all know that there was a lot of abuse and stuff going on. Ike was out here doing his booger sugar. He was also out here, he felt because he was coming up with the music and writing the lyrics and all the other stuff that he could do whatever the hell he wanted. And when Tina would step out of line, he would beat on her and all this other stuff. So we knew about all that tea. Now, a brief romance in Knoxville with the sax player Raymond Hill produced her first son, Craig, before musician and singer Ike invited her to join his band and then his bed. Later came well-known years of DV, busted lips, black eyes, dislocated joints, broken bones, and psychological torment became part of everyday life. I try to keep myself sane while managing his insanity. This is what Tina said. But her depression and despondency from Ike's abusiveness and infidelities led Tina to attempt taking her own life in 1968 by downing 50 sleeping pills backstage for a concert. And we do remember that because remember in that line in What's Love Got to Do with It, allegedly, what was said, he said, Tina, if you die, I'm going to kill you. Remember when he said that when he got that ambulance with her because she had taken all them pills because she was tired of his foolishness? And then it goes on and bring up their 2008 interview with Oprah where they look back on the first time they met and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I was trying to see if there was anything else to be said. But here's the thing. And I think I heard some people were getting upset because Cher was spilling this tea. But I'm like, why are you getting mad of her speaking of what Tina Turner's personal stuff when this is a moment in her time from her perspective that she's expressing in her memoir. So I don't see why it's a problem for her to talk about a moment in time with her friend and a conversation that they have had. We're already aware of what Tina went through with Ike. So I don't think she would mind if Cher was to spill this tea. Now, people don't remember this, and this is why I always get a little irritated when it comes to people getting so caught up on the youth and all this other stuff. So a lot of people don't realize this, and this is why I always say, like, I don't understand how some of y'all be running around here acting like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be a young man's game and all this other stuff. Yeah, Tina had success with Ike at a young age and all this other stuff, but then she didn't go solo till she was 45 with Private Dancer in 1984. So now they said Grammy sold out tours and Even Love quickly followed for Turner, who in 1986 began a relationship with German record executive Erwin Bach, who she was married to from 2013 until she passed away. And they had lived together in, Switzerland and stuff. So yeah. So that's why I always have to look sideways at people when they just be like, oh, you too, oh, why y'all trying to put out music at this age? And it's like, oh, so what? I'm 45 years old and I can't put out my solo album? Why not? Who said that? And when she went and they took that risk on her because it was just a reinvention, she had to reintroduce herself to the public outside of what she did with Ike. People ate it up because it was a good album. Nobody cared about her age. As long as she got up there in them heels and did her shows and worked her behind off and was catapulted to huge success with that album and won all the awards and sold out many concerts and sold all them vinyl records. That's all that matters. It shouldn't be, I don't know why in this day and age we so caught up in everybody got to be 12 or 13 in order to put out a record. What the hell does a 13-year-old know about love? Unless you got some grown ass 29, 30-year-old grooming they behind. and they still wouldn't even know it was about, anything about love. So I have no problem. I feel no way side in regards of Cher spilling this tea about Tina. But I know there was some people that was upset. But it's like, go touch grass. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of Tina and Cher spilling this behind the scenes tea? And I guess I'm assuming that she's equating it with, they had something in common. And I guess maybe the reason why Tina felt the need and comfortable enough to come to Cher is because Cher was going through the same thing with Sonny that Tina was going through with Ike. Not the abusive stuff. She was getting a different kind of abuse. Like I said, the emotional stuff that Sonny was doing to her. Isolating her from her friends and family and band members, and she couldn't go nowhere, and she always had to be cooped up while he was off doing God knows what with God knows who, and stealing her money according to her. So so basically, to wrap all this up, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have a comment, and Rora says, "Gay Hollywood Madam Scotty," and said that Desi Arnaz was definitely into the menses. I would not be surprised. Speaking of menses, guess who on Donald Trump's campaign is allegedly into the menses? Dr. Oz. I heard some tea about her, and they won't give me the full detail on who exactly it was, but allegedly, word on the street is that Dr. Oz was at the Waldorf Astoria get his back blown out by one of the girls from Drag Race. That is the tea I heard, and that's all you're gonna get from me for now. So, how they doing over there in Trump cabinet? So y'all want to sit here and act like there ain't no homosexuals running around in there, or people that get down with the get down? There's a lot of them floating around in a lot of these political streets. Most iconic Tina quotes: "Madonna is bigger than me in the States, but in Europe, I'm as equal to." Well, yeah, she's right, and I feel like America really didn't appreciate Tina, which is why she left and went over to Switzerland. But yeah, she is equal because Tina was worldwide, and I always say this about America. American people are fickle. Y'all don't really be out here as loyal to people as you should be when it comes to artists, which is why a lot of times they go overseas and they make their money and they're much successful there because American people, y'all so fickle. I think I think it might be the fault of the industry is that y'all focus so much on what's the latest, hottest thing instead of really taking the time to nurture talent and having that whole loyalty aspect behind them. I know, right? Ill. That was the last thing I wanted to hear in regards to that. But, child, when I saw one of my friends post that on social media, I gagged. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, speaking of, let's get to this foolishness. Now, T.I. Is in the news for being a donkey per usual, an expeditious idiot. Since he like using that word down there, he learned one big word and run it into the damn ground. So now, in a recent incident that has sparked conversations across social media, rapper T.I. found himself in a heated exchange with a bouncer at the Revelry restaurant in Austin, Texas. The confrontation arose when T.I. was denied entry due to not having his ID on him, leading to him going on his social media on his phone, going live, and proceeding to roast this bouncer on his live as a way to embarrass him. But the funny part was, and this is the cackle of all cackles, and this is why I live for, when these things happen. When a lot of you stupid, clueless behind celebrities go on social media with your little temper tantrums and stomping your feet and pouting and getting an attitude and the sense of entitlement, and when y'all go on social media thinking people gonna have your back when when you realize the shit backfired on you, I cackle when I saw this. So let me pull up the clip in case y'all didn't see it. I think courtesy of the Shade Room. And then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Y'all, I'm right here in Austin, Texas. I'm in Austin, Texas on what it is? It's 6th Street? East 6th Street. On East 6th Street at a place called Revelry. Rainy? Okay, Rainy Street. Place called Revelry. There's a sucker up here at the front. There's a sucker right here at the front. This sucker right here talking about I need some ID to get in somewhere. Huh? Don't worry about it. This sucker right here talking about I need some ID to get in somewhere. Any nigga with some shoes like that ain't gonna keep me out of nowhere, man. Any nigga wear them peppermint patty shoes. That man got on the goddamn Walmart Versace shirt, boy, with them Ross pants. And here, well, what your nipple hard for, man? Why your nipple hard for, man? That boy got them thick ankles. But look at that boy ankle poking out the side of them peppermint patty shoes. But what is that, velvet? Hell no. Yeah. Appreciate you too, buddy. We on him right now, though. But look at the shoes, boy. Who gave you them goddamn shoes, boy?
Okay, whatever. First of all, T.I. sound like a whole damn idiot. What I'm not surprised because he just as slow as that other one that he raising, that half-breed Neanderthal Fraggle Rock looking bastard son, King. Now we know why that little boy is the way he is. Well, first of all, he ain't a boy no more because now he a father. I don't know who in their right mind would spread their damn legs and let him ejaculate up in their damn coochie. Must be somebody desperate and need to be taken care of for the rest of their damn life, because that don't make no damn sense. This is the same idiot that went on. I'm gonna get back to Tip and Clifford in a damn second, but let's get on King. This is the same idiot that 2 weeks after the baby was born decided, oh, I'm gonna go to McDonald's and get him a Happy Meal. Like the child could eat any of the damn food that you put in the Happy Meal, along with he said, I'm gonna even get him a toy. Talk about slow. Maybe Sideshow Bob need to go out and get them toy for himself instead of trying to give it to one of his damn children. But to get back to this fool, the people clowned him in the comments. So what I don't understand is, this is what irritates me about you ungrateful ass celebrities who, quiet as it's kept, if it wasn't for that regular looking dude that's standing outside that establishment, a regular hardworking person, you wouldn't have the career your black ass would have right now. So I don't understand how you run around here saying all this foolishness when, if it wasn't for the people, you wouldn't have the money and stuff. Maybe you would probably be out here slinging drugs or whatever, you usual, and running guns. Because remember, at one point your ass was locked up for doing that. So maybe you would probably still doing your criminalities and things of that nature to get your money. So you can't be out here ranking on people's looks. When first of all, you married a Smokey Robinson in a damn wig, and then your kids looks a little special as an Ed. So I know you're not gonna sit up in here and try to read somebody on what they wearing. Who knows what his situation is? And I'm glad that the guy showed restraint and didn't come at you in a combative way. Because if it was me, I'd have cussed your ass out. But then I'd be out of a job. So the smart thing with him is that he showed restraint. He was like, okay, go, whatever, say what you need to say. But at the end of the day, you still not getting up in here. You still gonna be outside running off with your stupid mouth, trying to sound smart. And that's another thing what I don't like about T.I. T.I. always try to sound smarter than he actually is. But you sound dumb as hell. So the people went in on him. I feel like I did enough. I may have to come up with some more reads after I'm done. But for the most part, let's read what some of the people said over at the Shade Room comments. Now, one person said, wow, disrespecting the man for doing his job, then insulting him for not wearing name brands to work. These are the people we celebrate. Well, speak for yourself, because I don't celebrate none of these dumb celebrities. A lot of them aren't as smart. A lot of them are less than smart, quiet as it's kept. Another person said, now if he'd get fired for not asking for ID, you gonna pay his bills, Clifford? Not the government. Another person said, imagine trying to bully a man for doing his job. I hope he sues for emotional distress. Okay, get on my line with that. First of all, he could say whatever the hell he want to say. I don't think there's a lawsuit in that. People have a right to, it's freedom of speech. He could insult, he can call you names, whatever. As long as he didn't put his hands on him, then he's good. Then he'd have a case. But for insulting what he's wearing, who cares? Another person said, now we know why his son act like that. Exactly. Another person said, you really just put this man's location, job, and face all over the internet on your big platform, all because he was doing his job, bozo. Another person said, it's so cringe when celebrities get so upset for being treated like normal people. Jerome Trammell, who I got a blue check, so I guess he's somebody. They said that's his job. And at 44 years old, you bully him because you're wrong. You should be roaming the city out of state. You shouldn't be roaming the city out of state with your ID on you. And yeah, you can't just be walking up in places and just thinking and pulling that "don't you know who I am" card and think that just because you a celebrity that you supposed to just get peripheral treatment. It's like, no, if the rule is, regardless, I don't care if it was Jesus Christ coming off that damn cross, if he came up to my damn establishment and I'm bouncing the door, where is your ID? And if you don't have it, your ass ain't getting up in here. Point blank, end the period. And another person said, tip lame as hell for that. That man got a job to do. Another person said, is this supposed to be funny? Because I'm disgusted. Trying to embarrass this man for doing his job is wild. Grow up. And so, yeah, it goes on and on and on. It just goes to show that, you know what, a lot of people was up in here dissing T.I. and basically dragging him because he was in the wrong. And for you to actually sit up in here and think that you were correct and because your damn ego got the best of you, you got turned away from something, you think that is because you're some famous celebrity that you won't get turned away. I can imagine how he would have survived back in the day when it was real specific spots in New York where it was strict. You wasn't getting up in no place, and especially Studio 54. If Steve Rebel said your ass wasn't getting up in Studio 54, your behind wasn't getting up in there. He ain't care who it was. You could be the most famous person on the planet. So for you to sit up here and try to act like, oh, well, they're going to let me in this establishment out in Texas. Yes, sir, because you didn't have your damn ID. How you walking around anywhere without an ID? You can't get on no plane without one. You can't, you can't go. There's a lot of places you can't go without a damn ID. Now, what if you were stopped somewhere by the cops? You're going to get locked up. A lot of people don't know who the hell you are. When the last time T.I. been famous for doing anything? And you thinking because you did a little TV show on VH1, people supposed to remember that? I told you, people got the mindset of a gnat. You could do a show yesterday and they forget it by tomorrow. So at the end of the day, to wrap all this up, it's like, yeah, the bouncer was doing his job. And I'm sorry, but I'm not risking my job for no damn body. I don't care who it is. So if you're not going to show up with your ID, and so especially when you're a mid-ass celebrity, you're not getting into the establishment. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of T.I.? Do y'all feel like he was in the wrong for the way he did that man? It was like that guy was doing his job, and I'm glad that, you know what, and you made him famous a little bit. But yeah, I don't even know, is that even legal to be putting a camera on somebody without their consent and basically just roasting them because you were in your feelings? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so child, let's get into this story. And this might be a minor spoiler. So if y'all do not want to hear me go in and reveal what the spoiler is on this topic, I'm gonna ask y'all to mute the TV. I mean, mute whatever you watch. Everybody on mute, in the words of Beyonce. And I'll probably just like wave my hand a little bit or something so that way I'll let you know when I'm done. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a moment. But if y'all don't even care about Wicked, then you can sit and watch. But I'm going to have to reveal what the spoiler is to give context to the story. So Wicked fans are pretty much pissed off at Andy Cohen because his dumbass decided to go on his stupid show, Watch What Happens Live. I don't even know how people still watching that show. I gave up on that a long time ago. And shout out to Kevin Albiance because Kevin Albiance was on there the other day. And I do want to watch that episode. I might give it a gander. But he was on the episode when he did the Housewives, so he was on it with Dirrty and them, and he was at the bar. And this is what irritates me. You a whole homosexual with a platform, but why don't you give the gays a platform? You're giving them mediocre ass housewife broads and other people platforms. You could have sat Kevin Albiance behind on that chair and interviewed him. Especially with the 30th anniversary of Cunty, which was produced by my girl Honey Dijon. There's a whole remix out. But anyway, let's get to this story. So apparently, I believe it was yesterday, people were pissed off because he went and revealed a minor spoiler in the new Wicked movie. So on Thursdays, Watch What Happens Live, and I told y'all it's a spoiler, so mute. Don't get mad in the comments. Andy Cohen casually revealed that his guest, Kristen Chenoweth, makes a cameo in the movie, a surprise that many fans were completely unaware of. Now, Kristen, who you know, was the original Glinda on Broadway, and here's the other part, because they didn't mention this, but Adele Nazim, aka Adina Menzel, also has a part in the film. And there's a big musical number where they come out and all this other stuff, and everybody said it was a cool little situation. So I already knew about the spoiler before Andy Cohen did it. I forget where I heard it. And I know John Campea revealed it on his show yesterday, but at least he gave a warning in regards of when he spoiled it and said it was a great movie. Everybody's pretty much said that Wicked is a pretty good movie. But for the most part, it's like, yes. So they have a cameo in the film. So they said the first part of the epic fantasy, is already out and it's getting its rave reviews and people are loving it with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. And what I'm hearing is that Ariana Grande has a huge part in the film. So they're trying to push her for lead actress. I actually think that they need to put Ariana and Cynthia up for best actress since they're kind of like co-leads, but I really feel like Ariana has more of a major part in the film. So she, in my opinion, should be pushed more so for the Oscar nominations in 2025. Now, when the second part comes out and if Cynthia Erivo has a meteor role, because spoiler alert, she becomes the Wicked Witch of the West. How do you not know that when she's green? That shouldn't even be a spoiler. That's like common sense, duh. Um, if her role is meteor in the second part, then you could put Cynthia Erivo up for the Oscar for 2026 if they want to play it that way. Because I don't want anybody coming in, you gonna give it to her, but y'all gonna, stiff her and snub her or whatever, all the stupid stuff that they say. So now the cat's out the bag, fans took to social media to express their frustration. One fan tweeted hashtag WWHL, not at Andy spoiling, at Chris K. Chenoweth being in Wicked. She looks like she wanted that to remain a surprise. I would have said that too. I'd be like, I think I didn't want anybody to know that part. I think we were trying to keep that secret, but who knows? Maybe he was on the booger sugar at the time. So, Andy Cohen, he be on that stuff allegedly. So maybe he ain't realized what he said, but he's also an airhead. So whatever. Y'all know how I feel about him. So another wrote, wow, how oblivious is he? Very. Let the opening weekend audience get the surprise first. A third chimed in, yeah, because I didn't know she was in it, and they promoted the hell out of it. Yet another critic roasted Cohen, posting, he's so stupid. I know she was pissed. I could have summed that up better myself. Now, during an exchange on Watch What Happens Live, Andy Cohen asked Kristen, everyone is talking about what they saw in the movie. How hard was it keeping it a secret? Kristen, clearly caught off guard, replied, I'm going to plead the fifth. However, it seemed that surprise was already been spoiled by a social media post. So yeah, somebody also spoiled it on Twitter, but y'all shouldn't be surprised. So Twitter is notorious for spoiling things. So if y'all don't want to know stuff, definitely avoid that cesspool of filth and stuff because they just will ruin your whole situation. So it's best to just keep that. Like, don't try to avoid it. That's what I would do back when I actually paid attention on Twitter. I would just avoid that, or sometimes, at least I'm. The one thing I like about Facebook is that a lot of the people that I'm friends with or whatever at least give the grace of, you know what, I'm going to wait a couple of days and then I'm going to wait until the weekend is over and then I'm going to spoil it. So there's that. Now, fans shared a list of songs from the film, including one titled One Short Day. Beneath the song, the names of those involved were listed, inadvertently revealing the original Broadway stars Idina Menzel and Chenoweth would appear in the movie. Along with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, Michael McCory Rose was also credited. One fan wrote beneath the post, when I watched it in the fan screening, we all were shook. Everyone kept it secret. Please delete. Well, there's some people that just rather they want to I guess they want to have their little moment. They want to go viral or they want to get a bunch of clicks and likes. There are people that care more so about that than the fact that they spoiled it. And it's sad that a lot of y'all are just some goddamn algorithm chasers instead of really looking at the fact of, you know what, at least give people the grace and the wherewithal to actually enjoy this. Well, oh yeah, I remember when I first heard it. So I watched Kayla Says. She did a review of it, but she warned people as well. And like I said, with John Campia, he warned people. So it was nice that they did that. But then you got this old dumb old crow, Andy Cohen, gets on his channel and then goes and spoils it for the people. Which I'm like, why would you do that? You just ruined the situation because what? You wanted to be the first to have like a little moment on your tired ass talk show? So I don't think it's right. But I did hear that people who went and saw the movie, when the spoiler was revealed, how they got excited. The audience, roared in applause. They were excited to see that because if you've seen the play, then you know Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. So to see that kind of nod to the original Broadway play, where they excelled in those performances, and then to have them have a moment in the movie, that's an amazing moment. But why would you ruin that for people? Because one of the things I've always said about myself, when it's a movie I really want to see that I know that is like a scream, because I know I have to watch that opening weekend because somebody's going to spoil it, who the killer is. So I have to see it opening night so that way I want to experience that moment of just excitement. I want to have that natural emotion and a natural feeling. So if I was a huge Wicked fan, I'd have been tight. I would have called Andy all kinds of expletives, but then again, I probably would have got blocked. Like my soul been clogged. I would have got blocked. So, um, but I feel like I pretty much read enough of the comments and things of that nature. So we don't need to go further into it because, this article would have gone around and dragged on and on and on and on. But like I said, I do want to see Wicked. I'm not going to go to the movies to see it. I'm probably going to wait until it comes out on, what do you call it? Wait for it to come out on demand. And then I'll buy it. Well, not buy it. I'll rent it for like $20. Speaking of which, Smile 2 is out. I might rent that this weekend. But $20 I might spend on it just to rent it and see it. And if I like it, I'm definitely gonna go and see part 2 in the theater, and then I'll buy both and then have that. But I honestly don't want to run to the theater and see this movie right away. So I am generally really curious because like y'all, movie musicals are usually hit or miss for me. But I want to see it in the comfort of my own home before I take that plunge and want to go see it in a public forum. So I'll most likely see part 2 in a theater in 2025. But I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding, Andy tied behind and spoiling a pivotal moment in this movie and ruining it for the people that wanted to go see it? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said Cynthia is a more seasoned actress. Yeah, she is. Well, I think it's because she does theater or whatever. And yeah, there's that. But from what I was hearing from people, they were like surprised at how good, and not just the singing, but the acting of Ariana Grande and how she was exceptional in the film. And I'm like, have y'all forgotten? Ariana Grande was an actress before she was a singer. It's like, yeah, she was a singer and but she was trained in that whole Nickelodeon thing. How they singer, dancer, actor, that whole thing. So she went and did all her training. And plus, this was a dream for her. She met Kristen Chenoweth when she was like 10 years old and they took a picture together because she showed the photo. And so this was a full circle moment. She always wanted to play Glinda or Glinda, whatever, in Wicked. So this is a dream come true for her. So this is a full circle moment. And Ariana Grande has acting experience. Many people may not know her for her acting. People may know Cynthia because Cynthia has done theater, has done television, has done movies. So she has more of a leg to stand on regards to that. But I could definitely see they're going to really push for Ariana to go and get it. But I think they should push for both of them. Because who's really supporting who? Like, I don't like the whole best supporting best actor situation because the girls kind of are supporting each other. I feel like they're co-leads. They're not necessarily, one is not best actress, one's not best supporting. So there's a slippery slope there. I was straight up was issue 30X. Oh, you talking about Paul Abdul? Mm-hmm. Child. Oh, did they? Oh, did they? They spoiled the Terrifier 3. Matt Gates confirmed he's not going. Well, we know that. I knew that yesterday. I think he appointed some woman to be the thing. And first of all, he wasn't going to make it in there. But the word is Ron DeSantis could put him in a Senate to full the whatever. I'm about sick of Ron DeSantis or the Satan. Oh, they spoiled the chainsaw scene. A mess. That's messed up that they did that. I hope that wasn't me that did it. Because I was like, I said, oh, I'm gonna keep that. Well, I did say I was gonna give a minor spoiler, but that was crazy that somebody would do that. Oh, you said Terrifier 3 comes to Screen Box on Tuesday. It's worth the crappy. Yeah. So I'm not going to delete. I'm not going to get rid of it just yet. I still have Screenbox. I was scrolling on there the other day. I'm like, there is nothing on this damn streaming service worth watching. But I feel like once I watch Terrifier 3 a couple of times, then I'm like, okay, at the top of the year, I definitely got to get rid of this channel and then just buy all 3 movies and call it a day. Oh yeah, I did say the girl deserved it. She did deserve it. She was such a bitch. But wait, there's one movie I believe that is on Screenbox that I wanted to see. Street Trash, I think is the name of it. I know it's an old film, but I saw that they posted it up there. I was like, I heard somebody that was an old good classic 80s horror film, so I do want to see that. But anyway, what else do we have? Oh, so we have another Ariana. Well, we have another wicked story. This time, Ariana Grande is being accused of queerbaiting after she made a comment about Glinda's sexuality. So this week, Ariana Grande became the latest celebrity to be accused of queerbaiting thanks to a seemingly innocent comment while she was promoting her latest film, Wicked. And you know that damn movie's been everywhere. So she has been heavily promoting this freaking film. And she should. All that money's going behind it. And shout out to John M. Chu, because I feel like you want to know something. After this movie, I'm definitely looking forward to what he's going to do with what ideas he's got for Britney Spears, The Woman in Me biopic. Because the same director, in case y'all didn't know, who directed Wicked in the second part, the 2 parts of it, is directing Britney's biopic. So I cannot wait to see what he's going to do creatively with that film. So Grande, who's 31, and her co-star Cynthia Erivo, who's 37, who plays the Wicked Witch of the East, Elphaba, sat down with UK outlet Gay Times and were asked about fans who ship their characters as a romantic duo. However, Ariana's answer sparked backlash from some fans who accuse her of queerbaiting. She said, Glinda might be a little in the closet. You never know. Give it a little more time, she said in the interview. Now, Grande also said Oz is a celebration of uniqueness, adding, everyone is just so beautifully queer, and that roots all the way back to the L. Frank Baum books, where like literally the most commonly used word in the books is queer. Well, I think back in the day, queer meant something completely different. When people look at queer, the definition of queer is unusual or unique and that sort of thing. And yeah, the way that we looked at it, we kind of judged it up and made it more of a positive thing. But I remember back when I was using the word queer, and this was in the 2000s. I had a friend who literally had a problem with the word. I always celebrated because I was like, I like being different. I like being unique. I like coloring outside the lines of the crayon, with the crayon. I like coloring outside the lines. So, excuse me, I guess the old connotation of the word, he felt that it was a negative. I didn't see it that way, but it's nice that everybody else was finally coming around. So now the star went, so now after she had said that, she also called Dr. Dillamont, played by Peter Dinklage, a gay icon. Wait a minute, isn't Peter Dinklage's character a goat? So now while Erivo said of her Green Witch, I think Elfie, she goes wherever the wind blows. I think she loves Glinda. I think she loves love. And I don't think there's anything wrong with celebrating the deep connection that both of them have. They do have a relationship. It is true love, which is probably why people are shipping it, Erivo added, because what they build with each other is an unbelievable bond and love. Now, Grande even said that her Good Witch character, and truth, she said, and trust the truth, just such a safe space for one another, which is what all relationships should be, whether it's romantic or platonic. I mean, it's just true love, and I think that transcends sexuality. It's just because it just got a deep safety within each other, and that's probably why they ship it. And the interview then asked if everyone in Oz was LGBTQ. First of all, this interview was getting on my damn nerves. Because why is it that you just try to make everybody queer? Because quiet as it's kept, I get it that when it comes to movies and shows or entertainment in general, there's a lack of queer representation that we see in a lot of these things. Look, Out does a whole thing every time a damn movie comes out that, oh, so and so was in theaters, but how gay is it? You know, they do that stupidness. How gay is the film? I'm sure they did that with Gladiator. I'm sure they did it with this movie as well. So a lot of times what irritates me is like when you just trying to make a movie, and we already know how Hollywood feels in a lot of ways with trying to hold a lot of homosexuality or gay undertones in a lot of films, because if you flat out show people kissing, if you flat out show, gay characters, the incels get their titties in a damn twist because, oh, we got an agenda, or we're trying to push things on people. When it's like, all we want is representation. All we want to show that is that, you know what? Queer people exist in this world. Trans people exist in this world. Black people exist in this world. Women exist in this world. But it's like, if you show any kind of diversity, and don't get me wrong, I'm here for diversity. But when Disney did their mess that they did over there with The Little Mermaid, the way they went about it pissed me off, because I felt like if y'all really wanted to do a Little Mermaid with a black girl, played by Halle Bailey, what they could have did was you could have told a whole other story surrounding this girl and really made it completely different than the animated film. Instead, what they wanted to do was y'all wanted to you wanted a Xerox copy everything that came from the animated movie. Thought you put a little black girl in it to sell it because your movie was mid, quiet as it's kept, and then you just had Halle Bailey sit out here and get dragged, and then y'all just hid behind all of that. But then look, we're being inclusive. We include all these different people up in here. Because how the hell is this girl black, but her father was Javier Bardem? Make that make sense. I'm still baffled by that situation when I'm looking at Jurassic Park Part 2, where Jeff Goldblum had a full-on black daughter. I was like, in what planet is that even real? Like, I don't believe this. Like, that is not genetically possible. And I am a child of being biracial. So I think I know what biracial children look like. Or if you are going to be a dark-skinned child, your hair ain't gonna be looking like it's made of wool. You're gonna have some soft and curly hair. Now, in regards to that whole situation, let me look for it because I feel like it's going on and on and on, and I get into the whole queer baiting situation. So now, following the interview, now I found it. Fans quickly took online with one writing, "The queer baiting is getting too out of hand." Another person said, "Queer baiting is a marketing technique, for those of you who don't know, in which creators hint at same-sex romance or other LGBTQ plus representation without actually depicting it." I don't think that's necessarily a proper definition of what you're talking about, that queer baiting is something where creators hint at same-sex romances. I also think that queer baiting, more or less, I think in people's minds, is pandering to a certain demographic in order to sell a product. So when you have, for example, a Nick Jonas, or when you have allegedly Shawn Mendes playing with his sexuality because he's trying to sell that dry ass new album he came out with, or when you have certain straight people that do certain things, like what some people have accused Annalie Choppa of doing, when he said many a time, and some of the things, yeah, it could be questionable in regards of whether or not it's queer baiting, but for the most part, he is a real ally. He has a gay brother, and the reason why he shows love to the community is because he loves his brother. He's not going to deny his brother because of who he is. And he so happens to be a hood dude who's a rapper that has a love and shows love and support for the queer community. But I do agree that there are situations that irritate me about the industry where y'all like to shy away from gay stuff, but then you try to pander Because I feel like this was more or less what this is. I think queer baiting is the wrong word. I would go with pandering. I feel like they're pandering to try to get the gays to come see your movie. First of all, you already got the gays on lock. You already know the homosexuals is going to come out and support Wicked. That's a given. You already know the women's going to come out, and I'm sure that they're going to be some women that are going to drag their husbands and their boyfriends to go see this movie. And I'm sure a lot of these men that got the problem are going to come out of this film and say, this was a good movie. It's not my cup of tea, but I had a good time with it. So I don't necessarily would say that it is that, but I do agree that I am sick and tired of certain films was like, oh yeah, we can't show certain things because we don't want to influence the children. When I don't care what anybody say, get over it, get out that church BS or whatever. But sexuality is a part of who you are. Gender identity is a part of who you are. So if you happen to be a part of the LGBT plus Q plus community, that's something that's just within you. That is not something that can be taught. That is not something where you can radicalize and brainwash people into being a homosexual. Apparently, whether you want to believe it or not, homosexuals exist. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just natural. And I know you don't want to sit up here and hide behind your little Bibles or whatever the case is, but that's what it is. But I do agree. I am sick of the whole pandering to our community just to get our coins. But then y'all don't want to give us the representation. But I still want to see the movie. So, but the question remains, do I actually think that it could be possible that there is a bit of queer symbolisms between, like there could be a little affection or something between Glinda and Alphaba? I believe it could be. That there's the undertones are there, but because you want to get the general audience to come support this movie, you're not going to show these girls eating each other out in a damn musical or making out with each other. And they ain't do that in the play. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do you think that this is much ado about nothing? Do you think they were actually queer baiting? But look, it's a gay publication that asked the question. And so, when you go into these gay spaces, when you have the interviewers coming in, they're going to play up what they do for their specific audience. So, the conversation is going to get a little bit queer. And Cynthia Erivo is a lesbian, and Ariana Grande has a gay brother. So you already know, like, they're not going to have an issue playing along in this whole situation and kind of, zhuzhing it up a little bit, because I'm sure that these ladies get asked the same damn questions when they're doing these press junkets. Yeah, they sit in a room all day. People come in, ask them questions, and 9 times out of 10, it's the same dang questions over and over and over. So somebody's zhuzhed it up a little bit, and here y'all go getting mad. So I feel like it's nothing much to do about nothing, but it was a good enough story to talk about, so we talked about it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Let's go to the comments. Sleepaway Camp, Auntie Lee's Meat Pies, and a few others 80s cult films are exclusive there, including Trick or Treat. Yeah, they do have a lot of. I think that's probably why I stick with it too, is because they have a lot of the classic films. And whenever I'm in the mood to put on Sleepaway Camp, and I can't tell you how many times I watch that damn movie, I go in and I watch it. Exactly. She's an ally and she has a gay brother. And speaking of which, I just heard congratulations before we get to the rest of the comments. Congratulations to From, which was greenlit for season 4, which we all knew that was going to happen. I do love that show. I haven't even watched season 3 yet. I'm just waiting until the full season is up and then I binge it. That's usually how I do with it. But I've been avoiding a lot of the spoilers. And Day of the Jackal, that new show with what's the name? Lashana Lynch and the one that, damn, what's his name? Eddie Redmayne, who used to be in that Broadway play Cabaret, which is now his part he's been replaced with Adam Lambert. He took over his part, which I need to see that before Adam Lambert leaves. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I definitely need to see that Cabaret with him in it. That show was renewed for season 2 over there at Peacock. So the shows are showing. And then I recently started watching Tim, what's the name of that show? Cross, which is based on Alex Cross, who 2 other people played him. Morgan Freeman played him in the James Patterson movies that they did. And then, like, Along Came a Spider in those films. And then Cheryl Tyler Perry played him in a movie, but that was a choice. And now they have Aldous Hodge playing him. The show's actually pretty good. I gotta finish it. Yeah, I can see the gays going to see Gladiator too. That'd be the kind of that. See now, as this type of homosexual, I go see Gladiator 2 in a theater before I go see um the Wicked. Only because I'm not really fond of like music. Y'all already know how I feel about musicals, but I don't mind running around watching half naked men in a skirt killing each other. I mean, why do you think half majority of them, a lot of them homosexuals watch the UFC and a lot of those other shows? Was it? It probably was. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't remember who wrote the script, to be quite honest. Okay, so now, um, okay, so how many more topics do we have? We have 5 more topics left before the end of the show. So if you have not already, if you can, please hit that like button and that subscribe button and also smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live a brand new episode of Chris Avila Unfiltered. It definitely helps with the algorithms and things of that nature. Also, if you want to throw a little super chat of 3 down in there, it ain't, I ain't too proud to beg. Y'all could probably do that too. But anyway, let's move on and get into this Neo story. Since we talk about people and their sexuality, let's talk about Sue Coolers. So Neo is basically opening up about being in a polyamorous relationship because he was married to Crystal Renee, and remember he was with another woman before her. She was the mistress, wasn't she? Because I remember he was married once upon a time. He had her get her tubes tied, and then he wound up knocking up Crystal, and then left the other girl. I can't remember her name, but Neil was trash and still is, in my opinion. Yeah, you wrote a couple of songs, and yeah, you are famous in your own right. You've written a lot of hits for a lot of people. However, I do think like he's a cornball. Like he reminds me so much of Nick Cannon. It's like y'all just famous and everything, but you corny. So recently he went on November 14th, he appeared on the Lemon Drop show, and they released the episode where he sat down with the host. So about 25 minutes into the episode, he explained that he explained that his decision to be polyamorous was prompted by a realization that he was not living his truth for a very long time. And I made that face for a reason. If you know what I'm saying, I think you do. You do it. But he talking about vagine. So we're gonna get into this clip and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
It tells you that you're supposed to be with one person. You get married and y'all supposed to be together forever. I am not shitting on marriage. I am not shitting on anyone who has figured out how to make that thing work for them. Mm-hmm. Again, everything's not for everybody. Monogamy's for you. Mm-hmm. It's not for me. I realize this. I know this now. And it's like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I realized I spent so much time lying and trying to be somebody that I wasn't for the sake of somebody else. Mm-hmm. Complete and utter time wasted when I could have just been exactly who I am, said exactly what I want, exactly how I'm rocking, exactly how I'm not, and then waited for those people to gravitate to me. Because that's my reality now. Society tells you that you're supposed to be with one person. You get married and y'all supposed to be together forever. I am not shitting on marriage. I am not shitting on anyone who has figured out how to make that thing work for them.
Okay, so we pretty much got the gist, and I think I played that clip already. But anyway, it was that damn. I think maybe I wasn't paying attention because that damn earring was a distraction. Come on, dangling earring, let's get single. But anyway, go ahead, Butch Queen. I mean, with that earring, do she live out in L.A.? That's probably what she feeling her oats with that and that big old hat. But quiet as it's kept, Neo needs that hat because we've seen it without a hat on. So I ain't too mad at him for putting that, walking around with that hat, that big old hat that's covering up that big old head. But anyway, so he said he's not living in his truth, but he said truth with TROOF, truth. Because when you got the big old lips, a lot of times people can't pronounce words accurately, so you can't say truth. They say truth. It's a shortcut. But anyway, nevertheless, he went and said that he realized that marriage isn't for him. Now, regardless of, I'm trying to be mature. And I'd be like, okay, sis, now what truth we talking about here? Because are you trying to mask the fact of you having these harem of women because you want what you really want, but you're not willing to be man enough to admit what you really want, niece? Or is it that you really are about the whole harem of women situation? Now, I will say with this situation, if you come to the realization that, you know what, I realize this isn't for me, that's fine. I don't think everything is for everybody, especially when it comes to being nailed down with one person for the rest of their life. I do not think that we as people are conditioned to be with one partner. Now, if you are in that mindset that you can be with someone for a long period of time, like my parents been together for over 4 decades. So, and they managed to make it work. And then my grandfather, both my grandparents on my mother's side and my father's side stayed with each other until one of their significant others passed away. My grandmother died the month after 9/11 from cancer. And then my grandfather passed away a couple of years ago on my mother's side. So, um, long distance relationships, I mean, not long distance, long standing relationships actually work for some people, but not everything is going to work for them in that situation. I know somebody in my family that been married 3 damn times with 4 kids. So sometimes you gotta, you know, do things a couple of times for you to come to that revelation. Whoopi Goldberg has mentioned many a times on The View and in other interviews and stuff that, you know what, the solo life is for me. I like my own company. I like my own privacy. I mean, I could get it in, but at the end of the day, when we're done, then you can go home and I go to my bed. And that's kind of like mentally where I'm at. So even though I have come from a prime example of couples being in a long-standing relationship where my parents are still together. Me personally, I don't see myself being in a long-lasting relationship. I get tired of people too damn quick. And a lot of times, I think I've been in my own company, and I've done relationships and stuff in the past. But I feel like when it comes down to it, it's like I like the fact of I like the comfort of my friends. If I want to go out and I want to have those moments, I hang out with my friends. We kiki, we have a good time, and then afterwards, I go about my business. And if I want to get laid, it's not that hard for me to go out and get some pussy. It's not hard, especially in New York. It is not hard to get laid. Sometimes I pop Grande open and the girls be thirsty. Or if I go into other cities, I can go into a bar and I just be minding my business, talking to my friends, and the guys will give the look, and it's like, okay, let's go in the back. They got back rooms every time I go to a certain establishment. If we want to get it in real quick, we get it in real quick. Or when there's been situations where, for some godforsaken reason, men trust me enough to take me back to their apartment. Let me not read myself in this whole situation because I'm not the killer. So I guess I do have one of those trusting faces, and vice versa. I have invited guys back to my apartment and things of that nature. So I totally get it when it comes down to situations with Neo where he feels like, you know what, regardless of what he say, I'm just entertaining the aspect of what he said in the conversation. However, he really be living off camera, that's a whole nother conversation. He got to look in the mirror and come to terms with that situation. But in regards of the conversation regarding him being in a open relationship, I'm here for it. Like, I don't feel any kind of way. Now, the question really remains, and this is what I want to know. Is the relationship one-sided? Because one of the things I don't like is the fact that you get these men out here that's like, oh yeah, I realize I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that I like having a multitude of women in date relationship. Because I just heard Chris Brown was in the same situation. He said he's in multiple relationships. So, and I just read that in one of the things. I think it was like earlier today. I read that. So he but I want to know if it's one-sided and that the girls can't, because if the women can't do the same thing that you doing, because I feel like it needs to be an agreement in some sort of way. Like if you're gonna be able to go out and lay alone and spread it wide with people, then the women should be allowed to do the same damn thing. It shouldn't just be a one-way situation. And the fact of you being the guy who has a lot of money, who has a lot of influence, who has a lot of access, are allowed to do it, and then you picking these low-hanging fruit the girls that make less than you, that depend on you for in other situations being compensated, whatever, how you compensating them. And you using that because to me, that looks like it's a power dynamic. It's the fact that you pick certain women that will put up with that. You don't have a Samantha Jones type where even though that is a character, she is based on somebody. Trust to believe there is a Samantha Jones out here in this world that is an executive somewhere, but is doing the same thing you doing. And I don't think that a Neo would get with a Samantha Jones type. To me, you gonna get with somebody that's one of Nick Cannon baby mamas. We don't know them women outside of Mariah Carey. If that they're not able to take care of themselves outside of him. So that's basically my overall thoughts on that. But I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to him having an open relationship? I always say to each his own. Not everybody is put on this earth to be able to do the very thing that you do. Everybody has their own situation that works for them. And as long as y'all on an equal page about it, who am I to judge? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now let's move on. Let's talk about Redman, because he's spilling the tea on how much money he made working with Christina Aguilera on Dirrty. He said he made $250,000, $250,000. I'm like, well, goddamn, can I make some of that coin? But they were just throwing away money back in the day. So Redman and Christina's 2002 collaboration Dirrty was a major hit, and as the legendary rapper recently shared, it brought him some major earnings over the years. Now, sitting down with Red Bull for their Red Bull Spiral series on Tuesday, November 19th, Redman revisited the smash single and what it did for his bank account. Now, I could read you what he said. However, he is way more entertaining. It's way more entertaining hearing it come from his mouth. So let's take a gander over to Twitter. And I tell you, when I do this show, this is one of the reasons why I have not gotten rid of Twitter yet, because the amount of clips and stuff I'm able to pull, it helps the show. But hold on, because this is a long freaking video. Oh, why is Beyonce trending? I'm going to have to look into that. But anyway, please hold.
Oh my God, not publishing check, nigga. Christina is like one of my favorite collabs because I did a song called Let's Get Dirty featuring DJ Cool. What up, Uncle Cool? And she liked that. So he made an R&B pop version of that record. So I got on the record, and after that shit took off. We was everywhere, bro. She brought me on tour. We was overseas. That album, Dirty, was one of her biggest albums. And we was everywhere. And I got to actually see how a pop artist shake and move through this industry. And it's another level than hip hop. And plus, my publishing check, oh my God, my publishing check, nigga, I couldn't believe I got that much money for one verse. It was over like $250K, my first check. Oh.
So he said he made over $250,000. And I have to say, you know what? That's pretty good. That's a very interesting feat. And I'm like, I wonder what he did with that. First of all, can we talk? Shout out to Redman, because he is always, with him and Method Man, always been my favorite rappers. I even like when they did the joint records together. So they've always been like two of my my all-time favorite rappers when I was growing up listening to hip hop. And I totally forgot that song that he did, Let's Get Dirty, which was also produced by the same producer that did Dirty, and then how Christina came out with her own version of that song and got him on it, and they paid him a shit ton of money for that. And it was a huge hit. I remember when Christina Aguilera first came out in them chaps, and she was doing all that stuff with them sexy behind boxes and stuff in that boxing ring, and I was like, she turned it out with that. But everybody was clutching their pearls and gagging over the fact that Christina Aguilera kind of just did this whole switch up from being, a genie in a bottle to dressing like a hooker with some black and white dreadlock type situation going on with her head, and the spray tan, and she was very much giving Guido tease in her look and what was going on with that whole situation. And I was living for every moment of it, because it was just so over the top. It was so crazy. We gays, we live for the over the topness. So, but that verse from Redman is still everything. I love the song. I still bump it. And then on top of that, let's also not forget one of my favorite episodes of MTV Cribs is with Redman show, his actual house. You know, a lot of times we come to find out over the years, a lot of people who did MTV Cribs, that wasn't even their house. I think even JoJo said that she used her uncle's house to show them that was her house in, you know, MTV Cribs. So a lot of times when they were doing MTV Cribs, it was a lot of fakery and stunts and shows that they was putting on that damn show. So I love the fact that Redman was up there showing his place, and it looked a hot ass mess, and we was living for it because, excuse me, it showed how real he was being when he was showing that house. So I lived for it. But now, they also said in other news, Redman was recently crowned a lyrical genius by DJ Premier for his freestyle over a classic from A Tribe Called Quest. Now, as part of his long-running J at Q-Boy Beats freestyle series, the New Jersey legend went in on the beat for Benita Applebaum in April. Now, you know, that is an iconic damn song. I love that damn song. In a post shared late last month, which is a Tribe Called Quest song, in case y'all didn't know that. So, A Tribe Called Quest, congrats on Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You've been jacked. This is what he wrote in the caption. Now, Primo popped up in the comments and called Red a lyrical genius, while Royce the 5'9" commented with a goat emoji, and Kid Capri and Freestyle wrote fire emojis. Tribe's own Jerobi White, also commented, writing, Fifey really loved you, bro. Talking about Fife Dog. He passed away. Way back then, I was like, I'm just sitting there trying to remember old hip hop tea. So, in case y'all been missing Redman, I got some good news. He is coming out with a new album called Muddy Waters 2, which is spelled T-O-O, which will serve as his first album in 9 years. And you know what? I love the fact that we have a lot of classic rappers that I grew up with that are releasing music. You know, I love Busta Rhymes, but Busta Rhymes, you've been a little hit and miss with some of your stuff. I do like the old school heads coming out with music. I still listen to Nas. Nas been dropping a lot of, you know, bombs, as in like DJ, what is it? Oh no, not DJ Clue. Funk Flex. He been dropping bombs as in like a good thing, not a bad thing. So he's been dropping a lot of bombs in regards to like his music. Like Nas still been coming out with some good stuff. And you know, I like my conscious music every now and again. So I've been liking what Nas has been putting out. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what Redman's gonna come out with this new album. I actually would love for Method Man to come out and drop some music too. So I need the old heads to come out of the woodwork and drop some music. Because I think even Nas said in an interview that it's like, yeah, I mean, to show like there's some sort of mentorship, guidance, anything, I feel like the old heads should still be out here making music. Look, we got Snoop Dogg about to release Missionary, which is a sequel to Doggy Style. So I'm looking forward to hearing, and I think Dr. Dre produced that whole album. So I love, like I said, a lot of the old heads from my childhood that I grew up in the 80s and 90s, late 80s into the 90s, are coming out with stuff. I think Redman is a little later than that, but it was like 90s into the 2000s. So anyway, I say all that to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of Redman and Christina and that whole situation? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. Speaking of which, it said, he called the album Dirrty. That's why I said I love me some Redman. He a mess. And he said, which it wasn't the name of the album. The album was stripped. I know Nicki charges over him. I mean, look, some of these producers charge way more. And speaking of which, I heard that she released, what is it, the 10th anniversary of Roman Reloaded, and she released 4 new tracks on that. I did hear that. Okay, so now what's the next story? Okay, so we have Luann, the Countess, is speaking out about, following up on what Bethany had to say about Roni. So the other day we talked about on the show that not Luann, but Bethany pretty much said that the OG Housewives need to come back. The Roni reboot is not hitting, and the ratings are in the toilet. From what I'm hearing, they're only bringing in about 200,000 views on that season, and a lot of people are saying that the show is boring. And I'm sure there's a couple of girls that's in the show that are entertaining, but nevertheless, I believe that the they could mix in a lot of the old heads with a lot of some of the new girls and just interlink them. But I did find this clip because, Bethany did remove the original video where she went in and let Have on the original cast. But I did manage to find this clip over on her TikTok. Please hold.
You know what? I am not as mean as I would like to be. And I really wish people appreciated that more. You know what?
So, yeah, there was that clip. And then, so let me switch over to that. So the former Real Housewives of New York City star Luann said the new Bravo cast are not us as she reacts to Bethany's calls to bring back the OGs. Now, while sitting down with Too Fab exclusively in Beverly Hills ahead of De Lesseps' all-new Countess Cabaret, Mary F. Kill tour, the Bravo star opened up about how she felt hearing Franco kind of give her a compliment. She said, well, listen, she's been bashing us for so long, De Lesseps told Too Fab exclusively, and then going after the house we built, which was with Andy Cohen. I think she's persona non grata at this point, but I thought it was very nice of her to kind of promote the OGs. It's interesting how she left herself out, which is like you try to detach yourself in so many ways from being a part of the Housewives when that show pretty much put you on the map. So in a way, it does come across like when she has bashed the Housewives, that she's biting the hand that fed her. And yeah, she was well known in certain spaces and famous in her own right, but her career really did not take off until she did the Housewives. So I never understood why she was always so shady towards the show. And I'm sure that she had valid reasons because I'm sure, like with any gig or any job or whatever the case you have, there's good, excuse me, there's good things about the job and there's things that irritate you about the job. But it always seemed like she was more or less on the negative regarding the Housewives than finding anything remotely positive. Now, her comments come after Franco threw some serious shade at the new version of the long-running franchise she used to be a part of in a since-deleted TikTok video. Now, as for whether there's still bad blood between her and Bethany, who clashed frequently on the reality show that ran for 15 years, Lou tells Too Fab, it's all good. I saw her at a party in the Hamptons recently, so we kind of made up, but it's not like she's the girl I'd call in case of an emergency. That honor, she adds, goes to Dorinda Medley, Ramona Singer, and Sonia Morgan. I'm trying to remember, who was it that, it was Bethany and one of the girls from the Housewives that was at a party. I wonder if it is Luann. And it was Bryn, who is Bethany's daughter, that managed to get the girls together and they took pictures and everything. And then I think Bethany pretty much posted, there was something went down. And then it's just like, as fast as they made up, they was back to disliking each other again. If y'all remember the actual story, let me know in the comments, once I cut this up and put it on all the other social media platforms. If those who are actually watching it live don't really watch the Housewives of New York and remember, would just continue to watch. So it said that while the 59-year-old reality star turned cabaret singer said the new Roni cast is fabulous and beautiful, she also admitted they have big shoes to fill, which they do. And it's like, you know what, they've been set up to fail from the beginning. And I think that's with any job that you end up doing. Whenever you have an original cast of people and then you do a complete overhaul, you have the same name, but it's different people up in there. It's like, yeah, you really, and it's sad that we put so much pressure on people that you have to come out of the gate being at a 10. And if you can't be that, then you know what? There's always going to be people that's going to frown their arms, fold their arms and frown up their face and have their, and it's just going to be a straight up hater out the gate and not going to give you the opportunity. Even when you trying so hard to prove yourself, they're not going to give you that grace. So you ain't got to worry about them. But for the most part, if the show is not gelling, it may be time to put this show on pause, like you put in Dubai and some of the other shows, and really in New Jersey, and really assess the situation and think like, you know what, maybe you need to bring these people back. Look, we're about to go into another world of Trump. So you bring in, I know some people on TikTok, when I posted the original video about Bethany and her overall assessment of this, they were feeling like they wasn't feeling Ramona coming back because of some of the racist things that she had said in the past. And when I brought up the story about Phaedra and the Real Housewives of MAGA and her overall thoughts in regards to that, those clips are up on the social media as well. You know, some people was like, I thought we already had those type of shows with them over in OC and New York. And I said that. I was like, what makes you think that some of these women on this show are not Trump supporters or Republicans or think the way that, you know, there's the fear mongering and stuff that that party is pushing forward in order to win votes and things? What makes you think that these people didn't vote for them? So we probably already have Real Housewives of MAGA. It's just not called Real Housewives of MAGA. You got a lot of maggots who are on the show. But in regards to the whole situation, it's like, yeah, the ladies are pretty or whatever the case is, but if they're not bringing the drama, then I'm not watching. There's got to be a little balance. The only show that I'm living for so far, and I know some people say I wouldn't go that far because I said The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is the only show that to me is giving me, that is long running and still giving me what I need out of the show in regards to the drama, the glam, all of that stuff. All of the other shows I can care less about. I'm still I feel a little skeptical. Excuse me, about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I'm still watching to see. But child, word on the street is I heard Nene coming back, but I ain't gonna tell you how. I heard that too, but I'm gonna just give you that little bit. And how the whole situation, because a very reliable source that's worked on the Housewives told me that too. But I ain't gonna tell you how. Y'all just gotta wait. So they said the new house. Oh, so I think I pretty much read all that need to be read in regards to this situation. And this is like when. So I do feel at the end of the day, bring back Sonia, bring back Dorinda, bring back Luann, and bring back Ramona. We already know that Bethany isn't coming back, but and then you can mingle them with the other girls. So I do agree with what they had to say on that. So I say all that to say, what do y'all think of this story? Would you like to see some of the old heads, since we have two people speaking up about it now, intermingling with the new heads? Because you know what? Regardless of how you feel about some of the things and problematic things that some people have said on the show, they were, you know, Ramona, Luann, all of them, they were pretty entertaining. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. My damn allergies is going through it right now. It's like I'm coughing. I'm like can't breathe through my nose. We want to still pipe through this damn show. Okay, so let's get into this Jonathan Majors story that I forgot to put up. So Jonathan Majors scored a victory. So, you know, earlier this week, we found out that Jonathan Majors and Megan Good is getting married. I try to be all happy and stuff for them, but I am kind of side-eyeing the situation, knowing the, you know, the circumstance. All of a sudden, you know, Jonathan Majors was getting beat down to the ground by, the Hollywood's version of Emmett Till was getting beat down to the ground by this white woman. And then all of a sudden he want to come home to, beg for forgiveness from his own community after you started mingling with them people over there. Because a lot of times y'all forget what y'all life is like. Y'all try to distance yourselves from your blackness until it's time to be black. And then you're reminded that you're black. And then you want to come back home to the people and you want them to forgive you and take you in with open arms. And then you got Megan Good, that some people still think your relationship is fake and it's staged and that she's a bird brain for wanting to marry him. But you want to know something? This is her life. This is who she wants to marry. She has mentioned many a times not even many a times, but she mentioned in an interview, she spoke to her God. She did all these other things, and she's listened to the advice of her friends. But at the end of the day, she's the one that's got to make the overall decision and deal with what she got to deal with Jonathan Majors. And if they like it, I love it. I ain't got to marry him. And then after they get married, I ain't got to worry about get my ass beat allegedly. So if that's the relationship that she want to get in, that is the bed that she's gonna make once she finishes lying in it. So he scored a victory in regards of Grace Jabari, his ex-girlfriend, who he wound up getting caught up in that whole situation with because she dropped her assault and defamation lawsuit against him. So I guess we could say congratulations in regards of that situation. Ooh, excuse me. So according to Variety, Jonathan Majors' ex-girlfriend dismissed a federal lawsuit against him on Thursday in which she had accused the actor of assault and defamation. Now, the Marvel and Creed 3 star was convicted in December of 2023 of 2 misdemeanor counts for assaulting the woman, Grace Jabari, in the back seat of an SUV. He was sentenced earlier this year to attend domestic violence counseling. Now, Jabari sued him in March, alleging that he had defamed her by continuing after the guilty verdict to maintain that he had never laid his hands on a woman in an interview with Good Morning America. Now, attorneys for both parties filed a joint notice with the court on Thursday, stating that all claims against the defendant in the above captioned action are hereby dismissed with prejudice, which means that she cannot pull this mess again. Now, once you've dismissed it with prejudice, you can't go back to the court and file again. So one of Jabari's attorneys, Brad Edwards, said on Friday that is how every case ends after it is resolved. So I'm wondering, has he finished his community service and all this other stuff? So once he's done all he needed to do, is that why she dismissed it, or is it the fact that she heard about the engagement and all other stuff, and he's been putting in the work in regards of trying to be an upstanding citizen? So now she's just like, you know what? Let's just drop the damn thing. So now another of her lawyers, Brittany Henderson, said the case had been settled favorably. Now, Grace Jabari has exhibited tremendous courage throughout this very long and difficult process, Henderson said. As a result of her commitment to justice, the lawsuit that said she filed against Jonathan Majors has been favorably settled. We hope that she can finally put this chapter behind her and move forward with her head held high. Now, Majors was poised for a breakout year, as we all know. In 2023, his career was on the rise. I've seen him in oh my God, I totally forgot the name of that show that was on HBO at one point. That Lovecraft Country. I was watching him in that, and I was like, "Oh, who was that?" Like, I was loving what he was bringing, not in a sexual way, but I was looking at him like I was impressed by his acting. I was impressed by what he brought to that character, and I love Journey Smollett. Anytime I get to see Journey Smollett on screen, I'm always happy seeing her. So I love the show, and I was mad when they canceled it after one season. And, post that series, his career was on the rise when he appeared in Creed 3. He did Kang the Conqueror and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. But the thing was, I didn't particularly care for him in Ant-Man and the Wasp. First of all, I didn't even like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought that movie was a disappointment. I gave it a good 20 minutes, and then I just had it on as background noise while I decided to work on some topics for my website. And then I would glance up every now and again when an action sequence came up, but I just did not like that movie at all. I did not think it was good. And I didn't, honestly, as much, even though he did a good job as Kang and did all he could with what was on the page, I didn't think he was like, he didn't pull me in as the villain. Like, I guess after seeing, being all up in the MCU and all that other stuff, watching Thanos and all that other stuff, all those type of villains. And let's be clear, Marvel has never really had a strong villain in a lot of situations. Now, I love me some Thanos, but if you really look at the list of villains in their films, I've always felt the villains to be relatively weak, except Thanos was a pretty good villain. And it could have been because of the writing and the acting and the overall performance in that film. But I did not like Jonathan Majors in that part, which means and I guess it was because shortly afterwards, once all the drama had happened with him, in 2023, which caused his management and PR firm to cut ties with him and Marvel and all that other stuff, once he was found guilty, because everybody really wanted them to hang him up. After, even when the allegations came out, I was like, can we wait innocent until proven guilty? Can we wait to hear what the plea is before we make a decision? And I feel like that was also a way for Disney to kind of use that as a scapegoat, because to be honest, I just feel like that phase that they were doing with Kang and everything wasn't working. They had an overall idea. I feel like the execution just wasn't there. And it could have been because Bob Chapek was the head of Disney. So the phase during that period could have suffered because of Bob Chapek, who didn't understand how to run a studio. And I also think that Kevin Feige was worn thin in regards to that, with them trying to develop Disney Plus and all that other stuff. So I feel like the quality of work suffered because of all of that. But to be honest, I did not feel that he was a good villain. So this is why I'm glad they're kind of pivoting and going in a different direction. And y'all already know how I feel about y'all making Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doom. I'm not entirely 110% settled on that yet, but when the movie is done and everything, I will give it a chance and see what he brings to that character. But I'm not really too excited about Robert Downey Jr. I'm all about y'all proving me wrong, but for the most part, I'm not really that excited. But in regards of Majors, now that he has put in the work and he has working on making himself a better man, which I'm all for. I'm all about rehabilitating people. I'm all about if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to change your ways about stuff, looking at, be the man in the mirror and change your ways, in the words of Michael Jackson, then I'm not going to be mad at you for a situation. At least you're putting in the work and you're trying. Unlike some of these other people who y'all give far better chances to and don't even put in an ounce of the work of trying to change who they are and make themselves a better human being. So he is cast in a film called Merciless, a thriller from director Martin Villeneuve. Earlier this year, he was, and so he's supposed to be working on that. Now, is he related to Diddy? I'm wondering about that. And then remember the movie Magazine Dreams when he was supposed to come out with that film. It was picked up by Fox Searchlight, but I think they go by Searchlight now because Fox doesn't exist anymore. So Searchlight Pictures picked that up, but then they dropped it. So after the whole drama surrounding all of that. So that movie has now been picked up by Briarcliff Entertainment, the same production company that did that what do you call it? That put out, I guess is the word it's not necessarily the word I'm looking for, but that's what came to mind. That put out The Apprentice, the movie with Sebastian Stan playing Donald Trump. So that's the latest we have on that. And so I say all this to say, what do you think of this story regarding Jonathan Majors? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have, hold on. We got to say Trump never puts in the, okay. And he got to be the president of the United States based on lies and misinformation. But he had help. He had help from Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, some of the other people. And remember, once upon a time, Joe Rogan was out here making a whole lot of sense. He was for trans people. He was for, somebody, women having the right to choose and say all this other stuff. But I guess when you throw enough money at somebody like they a stripper at the strip club, making it rain and things, anybody could change their tune and sell out. Look at Mika and the other one and her husband, Joe Scarborough. For the right price, you too can be bought. But anyway, we take that out. Let's move on to our final topic and get to this RuPaul's Drag Race tape. So apparently season 17, is coming out. And the funny thing was, I was thinking about this yesterday. I was sitting here thinking about RuPaul's Drag Race, only because I think for two reasons. One, I watched Canada's Drag Race, the premiere yesterday, which I was getting in my situation. Oh God, here they go with these. Like, why Canadians, y'all do be sounding annoying with y'all accents. It's no shade. I mean, y'all probably feel like I got an annoying accent too, depending on where you live. Some people feel like you probably got an annoying accent, but they all sound like freaking Valley girls, which I'm like, why do y'all sound like that? But I guess maybe this is how they sound in Canada. But I have to say, the eclectic amount of queens that y'all had on this show, I'm thoroughly enjoying. But I did love that read where it was like, girl, there was only one plain Jane, and she is not you. So when the girl was trying to be the plain Jane, it's like, can y'all just be yourselves? I don't like when y'all be overall coming up in here trying to perform for the show. And just be yourself. But I do like the idea there is a huge eclectic group of queens on Canada, and so I'm liking this season actually. So in the beginning, I was just like, I don't know how I feel, but halfway through, I was like, okay, now I'm starting to like the show. A lot of the stories, the one trans girl that was on my body dysmorphia. I do like we have Indigenous queens on this season, so a multitude of Indigenous queens. So I'm liking the fact that it is a bit more eclectic on this season. So I'm enjoying it. I need to catch up on the other ones, but this is mostly about the mother of all drag races, which is season 17. So I was watching Canada's Drag Race, and then, I told her I'd watched the old one, so I'm currently on season 11. And I was sitting there like, I was like, wait a minute, it's almost December. November's about to be over in a week. Yeah, in about a week. So I'm like, so when are we going to start getting the promo of regular Drag Race? And lo and behold, I'm happening to looking on the blogs for any gay news. And then I come across Mama Ru getting all aquatic. So I don't know if y'all seen this, But let's pull it up. I'm gonna mute it because I don't know if if there's music and stuff in the background. I actually watched it on silent. So yeah, so we have that. First of all, I was like, that background is everything. I'm loving it. It's very aquatic. It says new season, RuPaul's Drag Race, weather is better. And I'm definitely liking the overall look. So that's all they pretty much gave us. They didn't really give us any information regarding what we can expect from the upcoming season. But according to Pink News, they said, though, there hasn't been quite a Drag Race drought. Who you telling? Because every time I turn around, it's a new damn season. With new episodes, because we're about to come down to the wire with Drag Race UK. So they said with new episodes, Drag Race UK, excuse me, and Drag Race Down Under, which I'm liking also, dropping on in the space of 24 hours. And Canada's Drag Race Season 5 premiered earlier. Well, they said earlier today, but this is because it came out on the 22nd, but I watched it last night. Because technically it's Friday. So they said fans are craving more queens. It's hard to believe it's been almost a year since season 16, which introduced the world to newfound drag icons, including Plain Jane, Saphira Crystal, A Mandatory Meeting, Morphine Love Dion, and of course the banana-loving champ herself, Nymphia Wynn. And yet, season 17 is on the horizon. In a new teaser posted on social media, Drag Race production company World of Wonder announced that a brand new season of the OG franchise would be dropping in January. So about 6 weeks' time. Gag. So yeah, I'm like, I've been told y'all that it was coming in January. In fact, I think I gave y'all an actual date on when we should be expecting Drag Race. From what my sources was telling me is that we should be expecting RuPaul's Drag Race season 17 on January 3rd, which I know people said that's a little too close to New Year's, but I'm like, New Year's Day is January 1st. New Year's Eve is December 31st. So that's early, that's like middle of the week. And Drag Race comes out on a Friday. So the first Friday of January is January 3rd. So that's when we should be expecting RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, in regards of the list of queens that we should be expecting to hear about, meet the queens, whatever the case is, I'm sure that we should be probably getting that. I'd say early December, maybe 2 weeks into December, because that'd be around the time that y'all got to reveal who the queens are. And more than likely in December is when they're going to have, excuse me, the overall premiere in New York, because we always have the premiere in New York. That's where media pretty much is. So that was one of the reasons why I pretty much came back to New York, is because New York in so many ways is the media capital. Although media, mainstream, like corporate media is a dying form, and now more people are getting famous and are giving us what we need on the streaming services and YouTube and things of that nature. So, yeah, so pretty much that's all the news that we have on that for now. But let's read what some of the people said in the comments, and then we can wrap this up. So one person said, "Go, go, go." Another person said, "I just want to be part of your symphony." Another person said, "That water better be crystal clear." And they said, "Hey, wait, I don't know what that word is." Okay, another person said, "Yes." Another person said, "Already wet from sobbing. I can't wait for this new season. I just hope it's good." Because I will say this, say what you want about season 16, but I thoroughly enjoyed season 16. And not only because my girl Saphira Crystal was on there, who I thought was going to win, and Nymphia Wynn, a New York queen. I'm glad she won. And Plain Jane, although, I have my situations with her on how she was trying to produce the show, she was thoroughly entertaining. So I ain't too mad at her. And what other comments was there that people would say? Another person said, "Stop the madness, dear." Another person said, "This look." Another person said, "Make me wet. Make me wet. Make me holler." I said, slowly the voice is coming back. So yeah, there's that. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this short but sweet story? Are you guys excited that we are getting? I mean, it's a no-brainer that we always get RuPaul's Drag Race at the top of the new year. Like it's been what it's been. That's basically what has been going on for the longest. I kind of wish they would go back to the days when it was on Mondays, because Monday is pretty much a dark day on Broadway, and that would be a great way to get the clubs and stuff packed to come to do the watch parties. I miss the days when they did that. Now they do it on Friday. That's like it mashes in with a lot of the regular parties that's going on. So it kind of messes things up, but that's the way they've been doing it for this long, and I guess they ain't gonna change it no time soon. So let me know what you guys think of this story regarding the new upcoming season of Drag Race in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have she's trying to get her Emmy again. Oh yeah, because especially after they lost to the Traitors, she lost the host category to the Traitors, and then you lost best reality competition, whatever the hell the title was, in to the Traitors. And the Traitors is a good show. I love the show. I love Alan Cumming, and I just love the overall over-the-top campiness that Alan Cumming brought to the show. And sis, you got to realize with all them Emmys you done had, I was gonna say boy, but she ain't buying. But all the Emmys that you earned from doing the show, and the show is this huge phenomenon, you can't win everything. I just wish that the industry would just be more open to more queer-centered reality competition programs to come on to come out into the forefront. Because here's the thing, I got a couple of reality competition gay ideas that I'm sure y'all would love if I told y'all what it was about. So, you said Grease is the only musical I ever watched and liked. It's funny, I was watching Drag Race season 11 yesterday, and it was the episode when it was based on Grease, but it was Trump the Rusical. So, that was a cackle. the Trump, they did a Trump rules. I said, it's funny how all of a sudden now I'm watching season 11, forgetting that was during the first Trump presidency, and how that got me all, it's like, well, damn, it's funny how I'm watching this now, knowing what we're about to walk into. He said, I hate musicals. Well, shoot, I'm not a real big fan of musicals either, so. All right, so we are at the end of today's show. I want to thank all of you for watching Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm going to be busy this weekend. I don't know. I'm probably not going to be able to do a show on Monday, but if I can squeeze a show in on Sunday, I'll probably give you all that just to make up for Monday. As I said before, hit that like button and that subscribe button. It helps with the algorithm. I'm trying to hit 2K by the end of next week because the month's about to be up. But anyway, love y'all for watching. Have a great weekend, and until next time, ciao darlings.